Okay, we're live right now. Welcome to the channel, Sports Reaction, also known as Rich. How's it going, man? This has been in the works for a long time now.
A very long time. What is up, the sports critic, aka Amir? We were supposed to get together in January, and I got whacked by something that made me extremely sick. And I think it may have been the old, what back then before we knew about it, because half my office went down. But we're finally live. We have so much to talk about. The Giants, the NBA coming back. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was the Giants and talking about, you saw the draft. I mean, that's something we got to cover during this whole mess going on because there's not much sports going on. What did you think of the Giants selection of Andrew Thomas? Were you happy or were you like whatever about it?
Well, I had a rage reaction when he was drafted. And just real quick, let me explain why for anybody that hasn't heard my explanation or you haven't. I'm a very casual college football fan.
Okay.
So when the draft is coming up, I go by the experts and analysis on who the Giants would pick. And they all had them taking Isaiah Simmons, Jedrick Wills, or Tristan Wirfs. So that's who's in my mind when I'm watching a draft. When I hear a different name, then I'm going to go ballistic, much like I think we all did last year when we heard Daniel Jones over Josh Allen.
Yes.
But now in retrospect, we drafted a lot of linemen. We drafted 800 linebackers. A lot of people are underrating this Giants team, saying they're 6-10, 5-11, 2-14.
Yeah,
I think we drafted pretty well, and we're a very, very young team. We had a decent free agency. The Giants are going to surprise a lot of people this season. I like what we're doing.
Yes, I agree. I was high with the pick, and I agreed. A lot of people were thinking Isaiah Simmons. Was that the guy that you wanted, Isaiah Simmons, or was it somebody else?
It was Simmons or Wills, because Jedrick Wills was considered to be the best O lineman.
Yeah.
But again, that's what the combine. I mean, the experts are wrong all the time. Darius Slayton was a 5th-round pick last year. He's our best receiver now.
Yeah, and you also remember, they did have Andrew Thomas in the beginning of the year, but then after all that, they switched it. So, I always thought that Andrew Thomas was one of the best pro-ready. So I was happy with the pick. I can't lie. But I could see somebody saying, I want Wills or I want Isaiah Simmons or whatever. What's up, everybody? Where's your Giants hat? I actually I didn't wear it on purpose because then I think people are going to be like, why is he copying Rich or something like that? I think we would look too similar. We both got black T-shirts on right now too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, but I'm like Freddie and Jason. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, mine is completely different. It's House Targaryen, which is Game of Thrones. Wait, let's sidetrack for a little. Do you watch Game of Thrones? Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I watched all 8 seasons.
Oh, okay, yeah, me too. And I used to.
You did a lot of things on the Movie Critic.
Yeah, the Movie Critic. Yeah, that were awesome. That's something that I miss doing too. I know you do. That's one thing that a lot of people liked about us is that we did movies and we did sports. Do you miss ever the sports reaction, like going back to those days or not really?
Well, I brought those days back.
I mean, yeah.
Stuck in the 80s is back.
That's what I meant.
In its own little way, which we talked about before we went live. And I actually wanted to ask you that, just out of curiosity. You have obviously the Sports Critic.
Yeah.
And you have the Movie Critic channel where you have done sports on. You actually started your sports there with some NBA playoff games. Do you wish you just kind of kept it all together, or are you happy having it in 2 entities?
I mean, I wish I did, but the thing was my content became so sports heavy that I didn't want people who watched me for movies to get upset because you brought that to my attention. You were one of the guys that told me, you're a movie channel and you're trying to do sports and trying to combine the two. And I think you should just focus on one thing. And that's when I created this channel. And then I like doing movie stuff, but I thought, maybe if I ever want to do it, I could just go back to the Movie Critic and do it. But you get so busy with sports that it's like crazy. I feel I think I go live like almost every single day, make videos all the time, So the Sports Critic takes a lot of my time. That's why I don't get to do the Movie Critic, but I do miss reviewing movies, all that kind of stuff,
Well, let me say this.
I
was actually wrong last year because the whole thing with YouTube is it's about you, and you can put whatever you want on your channel. I think back then I was really focused on maybe too much on the analytical side of things, and that's finally where I'm like, you know what? If you look at my channel now, it's 90% sports. It should be with the sports in the title, but the other 5% 80s movie reviews, and the other 5% is my metal band, because those are two big parts of me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to make separate channels and just be, it's there if people like it, great. If they don't, but it gives you different content. And more than anything right now, Amir, there are no sports really. So having different content's not a bad thing.
Yeah, so that's where I think you is great for you in terms of like you could always go back to stuck in the 80s now since there is no sports content really. I didn't obviously nobody expected this situation to happen, and that's just the part that like it kind of I wish I did keep it on one channel because I feel like if I had, there would have been some people that would have came for the sports and the movies, but then I was like I had to think of a name too and all that, and then I don't know. I just thought it was a good idea at that time. But yeah, looking back at it, it was like, oh, I would have kept it on one channel, kind of, because I do enjoy both a lot. And, you know, that's why when I just realized that you're doing Stuck in the 80s again, I was like, that's so awesome because I was that's how I actually found you, Rich. A lot of people probably don't know that. And some people on your channel probably didn't know. They're probably like, why? Or they're probably confused, like, why is this guy doing? But that's how you were doing it. And that's not the only thing you did. You did music. You did a lot of different stuff, you know. That's the Do people know about your metal days and all that too?
Yeah, let me give you a little brief history of the old sports reaction, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I originally joined YouTube in December 2006, and YouTube was not big back then. And you actually, I think the Movie Critic started shortly after that. Right?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
And it was a independent film company called Whackbag Films, off of an Andrew Dice Clay skit where he was yelling the word whackbag. And I had 16 subscribers for 10 years because we weren't really spoofing anything. There was really no way to find the content. And then one year in 2016, I noticed people were reacting to UFC events. I'm like, well, hell, we watch the UFC, so let's do a reaction to the main event of Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez, November 12th, 2006. I still remember the day, or 2016, still remember the date, live from Hooters, mind you. And that was my first video to get thousands of views and whatnot. I'm like, holy crap. So we still had the independent films thing, and then I added in UFC and WWE reactions. So I was doing sports before I became this channel, but I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. I wasn't interacting. I was just calling the thing and then we were ending it. And then that channel slowly converted into a channel that would become known as the Death Metal Reaction.
Yes. I remember you telling me this. Yes.
And it was all death metal, but the content started getting really. I'm openly Christian, and I was doing a lot of stuff on there that was not Christian. And I got to the point where like now I got people writing me, thanks for getting to me this satanic ban. And I was like, you know what? I finally got 1,000 subscribers, whatever. I'm calling it a day. And then I had a little music channel on the side, and Stuck in the 80s is what I started up in the beginning of 2000 last year.
Yeah.
Got involved in the sports community as you did yourself. And both of us were movie guys hanging out with sports people, which isn't really the best way to grow a movie channel.
That was another thing. Yeah.
And I decided to make the switch to sports in April of last year. I think you followed a few weeks after, and here we are.
Yeah, no, and that's great because that's actually how we both met. If everybody's wondering how we met, we actually met. Like I would say, Entertainers Channel was the big. Everybody was there. We were there, and you were Stuck in the 80s, and you actually did go on his channel as Stuck in the 80s as well. You see, like there's a lot of history to this, and I
think that video was still on his channel. That was a great night. I was doing impersonations and playing with the Brady glove. It was a fun night.
Yeah. So like a lot of that was another reason why I created the Sports Critic, was because I was going on sports streams. There were not a lot of movie guys who were doing live streams that I knew of anyway. And the thing was I just got stuck into more of that. So that's why I was like, let me just go. I'm going to put all my hard work into this. And when I have time, I'll go into the Movie Critic. But I had no idea. One thing I'll tell you is that doing sports when there was no corona or anything going on, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. I see that you put a lot into it, and especially with the green screen and all the stuff that people do, it is a lot of work. You know, I thought it wasn't as much, but I realized it is a lot of work, especially with all the streaming and all the videos, and everything takes time, you know.
It takes time, and I lucked out. I'll be the first to admit it because I started a sports channel during the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And it was right during the NFL draft, and everybody was covering. Most channels were covering the second day of the draft, which was round 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. And I decided insteed of covering that, because I was so angry about Daniel Jones, I'm like, screw that, I'll do the NBA playoffs. And I covered the Warriors and Clippers. And that night I had like 30,000 views, gained 400 subscribers. And they're like, we cover every Warriors playoff game. And I said, all right, on this channel, I will cover every Golden State Warriors playoff game for the rest of the NBA playoffs. And my channel blew up during those playoffs. And I got very lucky. And people are like, man, you're so lucky. You know, you got 1,000 subscribers in 1 month. I'm like, yeah, but you're forgetting the 13 years of suck
No,
before
no,
that.
yeah, no, yeah, of course, of course. I no, and I know when you did it, it was a lot of work. So yeah, I mean,
Ultimate champ. I keep seeing you say that the Spurs won't make the playoffs. I got you, man. But I'm going to believe in my team.
we will get into that just in a second. I just want to say one thing quickly, and then we'll move on from this. But yeah, that's actually that's also what made me create the Sports Critic, was the fact that when I was on the Movie Critic, I was getting a lot of views when you were doing the NBA playoffs, and I was doing it too, actually. But I was doing it on that channel, and I never did it on this channel because this channel was created after that fact. You know, this channel was created probably last year in April, at the end of April or May around that time. So
I think it shows it's been around for a long time. So I think it was your personal account.
Oh, right. This is my personal account that I changed into the Sports Critic. Yeah, because I already had subscribers and people that I knew here. So then it was an easy transition, but it was like I had to get a lot of people from the Movie Critic here and stuff that I probably still don't have here. Yes. So now let's talk about some NBA, because I see a lot of the chat wants to talk NBA. If they want 22 teams, should they have 11 teams from the East and 11 teams from the West, says Demian Estrada. What do you think?
I would say yes, but they've already decided it's teams that are in contention for the 8th playoff spot. So correct me if I'm wrong, Amir. It's 9 from the Eastern Conference and then 13 from the Western Conference.
Yes, I think that is correct. And I think that makes more sense because the West is more competitive when it comes to the 8th seed. So I don't even know how anybody in the – I think so it's just one team from the East that is not part of the 8. If you said 9.
I think the Wizards.
The Wizards could make it. I guess the Magic would have to lose like almost every single game for them to make it, which would be terrible for me because, you know, I want my team in the playoffs. I don't care about because a lot of people are like, hey, but then you could get in the lottery. No, I want to see my team in the playoffs because we were in the playoffs last year, and I like to see my team progressively get better. Like, that's why I understand why you want your team, the Spurs, to get into the playoffs, which is a possibility. Actually, I made a video yesterday about this whole scenario, and I was talking about this works out for the Spurs because they didn't even have a chance, and now they got somewhat of a chance. It's still hard, but
we weren't out of it. We were about 4 and 4.5 games back with 19 games left. The 8th to the 12th seed or 13th, however many are there, not very good in the Western Conference this year. Usually you look at the Western Conference and the top 8 teams are all 500 or better. This is the anomaly year where you have a lot of top teams in the top 3 or 4, and then there's a big drop-off as you move down the rankings. So they had a chance, but they were playing kind of poor in Pop's rotation. I mean, he was putting new people in, and the minutes were changing every night. And that's actually, there you go, Daniel, very inconsistent with the Spurs. They were consistently inconsistent because we saw them. The last game they played to beat the Mavericks. Last I checked, the Mavericks are a good team.
Yes,
so yes. On any given night, they could beat somebody like the Bucks and then lose to the worst team in the NBA. So hopefully this time off, they've gotten their act together. Pop has figured out a rotation he wants to go with for these 8 games. Whatever happens, happens. If they make the playoffs, break the NBA record at 23 years in a row, that's great. If they don't make it and they get a lottery pick, hey, last time we got a lottery pick, it worked out pretty good because we created a dynasty when we drafted Tim Duncan.
Yeah, that's true. And so I don't know if you answered this question, but Daniel Berry wanted to know your thoughts on the Spurs. I'm pretty sure he's talked a bunch about the Spurs.
Yeah, I think I just went over everything with the Spurs. They have a chance, but they got to be consistent.
Yeah. But what do you think about I have a question about the Spurs just separately from this. What do you think about DeRozan? Do you think that they should trade him and move on from him, or would you like him still to be on the team?
I did a video about whether we should trade DeRozan and also a video about whether we should trade LaMarcus Aldridge. So if you're a Spurs fan and want my thoughts, I'll actually suggest after this video, of course, not right now, go to the Sports Reaction on the front page. You'll see some playlists. All the teams I cover are right there. The New York Giants, the San Antonio Spurs, yes, the U.S. Women's National Team, which actually is my most popular sport I cover, go figure, Amir. The New York Yankees and UFC.
Hey, OGR, welcome. What's up? What's going on? How are you? OGR is great. I had him on the channel too.
Become a friend with off of YouTube because OGR lived about 20 minutes from me.
You can drive to each other's houses. I've seen that. He actually has come to where you live, and I always tell people, they know each other in real life. That's so cool.
From YouTube, though. We didn't know each other before.
Yeah, I meant like from YouTube, and then like he just came and you guys did a live stream together, like live in person, which is cool. Like, a lot of people don't have the access to do something like that.
You know what's weird, Mayor? A little off subject. What we're doing right now, what you're doing, you've been doing this for a long time. A lot of YouTubers have. I just kind of got into the StreamYard thing, but streaming like this,
Yeah.
You've been doing this type of content for a long time.
Right.
And now when you put on ESPN or any channel, this is all you see is this type of content. It's like, what happened to us YouTubers? Like the stuff that we were doing, especially guys like you, that's the world right now. Everybody's doing this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because of the corona, people can't really get close to each other. Everybody has to stay separate and far apart. To me, that it's true. Like, and I've been doing this even before StreamYard. I was doing this on Google Hangouts before we had that. And the thing was, it was always like, because, you like to hear other people's opinions and stuff like that. That's what I always like to get out of YouTube. Not only like I like to express my opinion, but I like to see what other people have to say. And I know you like that too, Rich, because, you read, like when you're going through your chats, you read most of it, which is very hard to do. People don't understand how hard it is because especially when you have a lot of subscribers and the chat's flying by. So that's great, I think.
That is my one strength. If anybody says, are you the best play caller on YouTube? I would say no. But am I the best multitasker? I think I'm up there because I run a live scoreboard, a live game clock, which is not easy at all, and call a game and talk to the chat. But it keeps me busy. And I want to address something Damon asked because I don't know I haven't heard about this, Amir. I don't know if you have.
The prompts and Drew Brees. Oh, Drew Brees. Well, he apologized for his comments, but yesterday he was talking about how he would never kneel he would never kneel during the national anthem, and people got really upset about that.
Oh, not a good time to be saying stuff like that.
Yeah, this is just there's a time and a place, and there was no need for him to say it right now with all the tension so high, especially I don't know. That's why I'm trying to stay away from that because right now I want to talk more sports related. This feels like politics, and I don't.
Just that way, and we're done. Back into sports.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you do? You stay away from politics on your channel too, right? For the most part.
Well, yes and no. I try to stay away from politics, but I had to get a little political because I do cover the U.S. Women's National Team, and a big story with them is their equal pay lawsuit. So I figured I was getting. Here's a funny thing: I was getting criticized. For not covering the equal pay lawsuit. They're like, people are saying, if you care about this team, to cover it. So I covered it, and guess what happened? I got criticized for covering the equal pay lawsuits. I'm like, you just can't win. But I gave my opinion on it. And it's actually really interesting. I'll just gloss over it real quick. I'm all for equal pay. I believe whether you're male, female, white, black, whatever, we should have equal pay. And when you look at the lawsuit, it looks good on the surface. But when you dig deep, it actually turns out the women agreed to the collective bargaining agreement that they have right now. And they could have had the same agreement the U.S. men's national team had, and they declined it. Had they taken the men's agreement, they would have been paid more. So instead, they're now suing for back money they feel they're owed, when they took agreement with less pay but has health benefits, maternity leave, et cetera. So it's a really gray area. In the end, I support the team, and I hope in their next CBA they get equal pay.
No, that's true. I believe in that too, equal pay and all that kind of stuff. So it's very important. But yeah, I want to steer away from this for now because like this is sports right now. Let's talk. And the thing is, I'm so happy that the NBA finally has a plan to come back, and now it's official. I think they said, this is
July 31st.
First, there were some people that are actually complaining. Oh, July 31st is so far. I'm like, you waited 3 months. What are you talking about? You might as well wait another month. You're good. Now,
who may shoot themselves in the foot is MLB is having a disaster with their negotiations in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of racial tension, if we won't leave it at that. Baseball can't get their act together. It's like you see what you make millions of dollars and you guys are bickering over. Just get it together and start playing baseball in July because the UFC's been back. They're doing well. NASCAR's back. NBA's coming back. If baseball strikes this season, that could do a lot of damage that can't be repaired.
Yeah, what is going on with baseball? I haven't really heard anything because I think the players can't agree with the salary cuts and all that stuff. Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's it's a big issue with guaranteed money and like the players. I don't know the whole gist of it, but they want guaranteed playoff money. And the owners are like, well, if the playoffs don't happen, there's no money to dole out, so we don't want to guarantee that. So it's a mess right now, and it's looking bad for them to come to an agreement.
Right. We got a question. Guys, ask questions. I love interacting with the chat. We can both answer it too. We like talking to each other too. That's not a problem. But anyway, so are you pumped? I think we are all pumped for NBA. Like NBA was actually, I think, was that the first sport you covered? I think, like on your channel.
No, the very first game I ever covered, and it's a train wreck. I've since deleted the video.
All right.
I covered the Virginia versus the college basketball final last year, the final two.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I know.
And I didn't know who anybody was, so the whole game I was like saying, and he passed it to number 23, not Michael Jordan. It was the worst play-by-play ever.
So, yeah. You know what else is crazy? That you call UFC. So I don't watch any UFC, right? But last weekend there was an event, and I was at my family's house and they were watching it. And I was watching it and I was really enjoying it. So I may start doing that as well. How do you feel about calling the UFC? Do you enjoy it, or is it like?
I love it. I've been a mixed martial arts fan since its inception in 1993. I was a big Bruce Lee fan growing up. So excited for the 30 on Bruce Lee, by the way, coming up. And love the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, yes, I know that movie. Really old movie back in the day, yes.
Movie.
Yes.
When I watched that movie, I was like, I hope they do this in real life at some time. And the UFC 1, which I had to rent on VHS, if anybody remember the VHS is, I was like, this is like Bloodsport, but for real. And this little Gracie dude just beat up a guy twice his size. This stuff was awesome.
That's all Jean-Claude was known for, those action movies and stuff like that.
Great. So I like it. It's probably one of my favorite things to call. I was a casual fan from 93 to 2010, and then I got really big into it when Brock Lesnar was running wild in the UFC, which was just a crazy time. So I've been a huge fan for 10 years. I was a little late to the party, but a lot of people are coming on board this year with no sports. And I will say, it's very interesting watching it with no fans, because now you can really hear like these guys.
You hear the hits. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. We got a great question here. Is the only reason they're doing 22 teams is because they want Zion? I don't think that is the reason why they're doing 22 teams at all. I really don't. A lot of people think that, actually, though. What do you think about that, TSI?
I mean, the Spurs are only 4 games out, so I think they're giving every team that had a legit chance to possibly grab the 8th seed with 19, 20 games left, these extra 8 games. No, I don't think – I mean, Zion will help the ratings, but you know what? They could bring Zion back and he could sprain his knee and be out all 8 games. I mean, I don't think that's the reason, but it doesn't hurt that he's going to be playing.
Oh, this is a good one from OGR. Which team do you expect to surprise, and which team do you expect to disappoint? So I'm going to let you go first, Rich, with that one.
Surprise is going to be none other than our New York Football Giants. Telling you, people are underrating them.
Great answer. And what about disappoint?
There are going to be a lot of disappointed Patriots fans out there. Let me just say that.
Yeah, for me, the team that I was going to pick as surprise was the Chicago Bears. And this is really because I think their defense is really good. And I think Nick Foles, if he fits in with this system, because I heard he can, I think that they can actually be pretty good and actually have them as a wild card team. Also, like the Arizona Cardinals could be a surprise because, they can be pretty good. But a lot of people are expecting it, so I guess that's not that big of a surprise.
Yeah, the DeAndre Hopkins trade has kind of put them on the radar.
Yeah, I was thinking they would be even better before that. And then a team to disappoint. The Patriots is a good one. I totally agree with that. I didn't even think about that because I'm just like, yeah, they're just going to – so I'm trying to think of like another team. But that was a really good one.
I got a surprise one for you on the disappointing side.
Okay. A surprise one on the disappointing side.
Disappointing. The Kansas City Chiefs, because when you win the Super Bowl, there's nowhere to go but down if you don't win again.
Well, yeah, if you go that way, you could say the 49ers, because since they lost in the Super Bowl, a lot of teams tend to have that Super Bowl hangover and not play as well. So I could go with that as well. Chiefs or Saints? Oh, my God. Yes, let's go. I love these type of questions. I'll take it actually first. I'm going to say I think Chiefs are the better team. I think Mahomes and that offense is better suited all around. Their defense isn't as good, but I think the Saints have the better defense. And so that's why I just think, I don't know. I think, with Tampa Bay being there, the Saints division is a little tougher, but the Broncos also improved. So you could say either way. Who do you think will be better?
Let me just say it's about the Saints. They're a great team in the regular season.
Yeah.
But they are always one bad call away from losing a playoff game. So I just totally break that little curse they've had. And they've lost to the Vikings, I think, twice in the last 3 years. One with that weird, crazy, was it Stephon Diggs that took it to the house, like 75 yards when they thought they're going for a field goal. And then a questionable call last year with the touchdown to Kyle Rudolph, and then the non-call against the Rams. They just have bad luck in the playoffs. And until they find a way to squish that bad luck and get rid of it, I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Yes. Yes, I picked the Chiefs too. So that was a great question. I love this team or that team, but it's very hard also because they're in two different conferences. I was expecting somebody to come with team from the same division. This is a question I have for you, Rich. Football question: who do you think wins the AFC East? Do you think it's the Bills, or would you say somebody else?
I would probably. I don't like betting. The Patriots' defense will still be there. I don't trust their offense at all. Their offense was not good last year.
Yeah.
With Tom Brady in there, and granted he was an older Tom Brady, but still Brady's in there, and usually you could elevate the people around him, and that just didn't happen. The Dolphins are still rebuilding. The Jets, the Jets, when Darnold came back, weren't that bad. So I think it's a toss-up between the Bills and Jets.
That's I have the Bills, yep. So who do you think LaMelo will be the first pick?
No idea.
I've actually looked at some. So this is how bad sports has got. I've actually looked at some NBA mocks, and he's usually first or second. But there's a guy I think that they said that is a little bit better than him, and Anthony Edwards. But he could be a first pick. It depends. It depends the team. It depends the fit. If we don't know the team, how are we gonna know? Who do you take?
The dude from ER.
Who?
Anthony Edwards.
I don't think that's him.
At least somebody got it. Also, Revenge of the Nerds.
Somebody said, who do you think would win the NFC West? I think it's the Chiefs. Chiefs or Broncos, but I have the
NFC West.
Oh, NFC. Sorry, I got confused with AFC. Oh, so bad here. I think the 49ers should win it again, even though I picked them as a disappointing team. I think they should win it again. I really think they have the most solid team. They have the best defense in that division. Defense wins.
Yeah. I can't see that. I mean, Seattle might give them a run. The Cardinals are going to be much better than they were last year. I think the Rams are heading in the other direction. So I would play 49ers again.
Alex Sports, such a great, guy. He had Patriots last. This makes me laugh. I just don't believe they could be last. I don't know why. I feel like Bill Belichick would do everything in his power to be at least second or third. But
Spygate, deflate some balls, whatever
it takes, I think, to do that. But I do agree with the Bills. That's very spot on. The Jets over the Patriots is going to be hard. I mean, Rich said that he could see them, but I don't know. The Jets are hard to bet on for me. I need to see something from them. You know what I mean?
They were decent when Darnold came back, though, from
yeah, they played much better. They might play much better. You're absolutely correct about that. So I'm not saying I can't see it, but I want to see it first. That's all I'm saying. Because the Jets always find ways something happens. Like he gets mono. Like what? How does that happen? Is there a question you liked in there or something?
I like Ultimate Champ 0011. Clippers or Lakers?
Oh, for me, I can answer this. I think it's the Clippers. Everybody says it's the Lakers, but I like the depth of the Clippers more. I think they have more players on the bench that are better. And yes, LeBron is better probably than Kawhi, but Kawhi ain't that much far off. And I know this is a touchy subject for Rich because Kawhi used to be on this.
Whatever.
What do you think? I always
you know what?
A very close one though.
If there was no stoppage due to the virus, I would have said Kawhi Leonard's going to be doing a lot of load management, which he does. The Clippers are very deep, and by the time the playoffs start, LeBron might be a little tired because he's got a lot of miles on his body. But LeBron is going to be rested. Mm-hmm. He's had almost 3 months off. He will have 3 months off. So right now, it's kind of a pick-em. I do think I like the Clippers bench a little more with Montrezl Harrell and sixth man of the year. His name is
Lou. Was that Lou Williams?
Lou Williams, yeah.
A lot of people I like on that team. That just
Kawhi Leonard, hate him all you want. He's a different player in the playoffs. He steps much better. Up. He upped his minutes from 33 to 38, 39. It'll be a tough series. I've already said the NBA champion, or at least the team representing the West, is definitely going through LA. It'll be a 7-game series more likely, and it should be a fun one to watch.
So this is just a funny one. Magic or Spurs? Because, you're Spurs on the Magic. It's hard to say for me because, I think we split this season. I think it was 1-1, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
And there's no contest, though. No disrespect to Amir, but they've never won a title. So, I mean, if we're going legacy,
all-time franchises, of course, Spurs are better. No question about that. But if you're asking this season, it's tough to say too because it's
pretty. I think you guys are maybe a little better.
Yeah, Yeah.
But it's not apples and oranges.
Okay, organization is not even a question. Spurs are way better. And actually going to the Spurs was that Tim Duncan might have came to the Magic. You ever heard of that story, Rich, about that?
That and or the Celtics, because the Spurs were the third worst team. And I think, no, the Grizzlies and the Celtics, I think, were worse than the Spurs that year.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like once he was a free agent, he was actually.
Oh, I did see that.
Yes. I was so hurt by that. Like, I mean, I'm happy he kind of stayed with you guys because he built a great legacy. But imagine him on the Magic; it would have been insane. Him and Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill.
Tracy McGrady, he's one of those weird players that was so good and then just hit it.
Yeah, he just dropped so quickly because he had to do a lot. I feel like, and he got injured. When you have to do a lot on one team, I feel like that's like when you get injured and things like that. Oh no, I got to talk about this one. Eagles or Cowboys? Which wait.
I want to answer that. I got the perfect answer. Eagles or Cowboys?
None. Exactly. There you go.
Giants fans, screw them both.
Look at that. Everybody's asking Cowboys or Eagles. Cowboys. I think Cowboys are the better team. I hate both of them, but yeah, I really can't stand them.
I haven't spoken with you about this because it's the first time I'm working live. I will give the Eagles organization credit for what they did last year because their whole wide receiving corps was wiped out.
Yes.
They were injured left and right, and they put in the next guy in, and they still made the playoffs. So that's a credit to the coaching staff and the team to be able to still persevere when, on paper, with the injuries they had, they shouldn't have won the division. They shouldn't have made the playoffs, but they did.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what I always said. Like, Cowboys should have won the division last year. I felt like they still had the most talent. Now they even got more talent during this draft, which pisses me off because when they got CeeDee Lamb, I was pissed, man. I was like, come on, man.
Well, they got a great slot receiver, a third receiver, and they screwed the Eagles who picked him. So that's a win-win.
Yeah. Rich, what do you think of DeJounte Murray?
I
know
disappointed with the season, but we have to remember he's coming back from a torn ACL. Most players, when they come back from a serious injury that first year back, they might not be quite up to playing to their full potential. He's improved his mid-range jumper, and he's hitting threes now, but he's not creating too much for his teammates. He's only averaging 4 assists a game. When I think somebody at point guard, I'm fine with you throwing down 15, 16, 18, 20 points a game, but you got to get your teammates involved. And with him, Aldridge, and DeRozan, that offense is just they're not functioning well together. I think there's going to be a lot of changes to the Spurs after the season.
Yeah. I mean, I know Skip Bayless loves him. Skip Bayless always talks about him. He thinks he's like this, you know, the way that he talks about him is completely different because he loves the Spurs. That's his team.
Yes, he does. But he's also a Cowboys fan, and his bias, he's extremely biased. I'll call it like I see it.
Yeah, he is biased.
Some players on the Spurs got to go after this season. I'm not going to, turn a
Dak or Wentz? I'm going to go with – I think Wentz is the better quarterback. I think he had way less to work with last season, and he still got to the playoffs like Rich was alluding to earlier. What do you think between these two?
Well, first of all, great icon with Saquon Barkley, by the way. Dak Prescott is now a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'll put him up there. The money he's asking for is ridiculous. Wentz is probably the better player, but there's an asterisk there because
injury.
To help your team, you have to be on the field. Carson Wentz has won 0 playoff games in his NFL career. All those Eagles playoff wins are by Nick Foles. So right now that's a pick 'em because Wentz may be better in the regular season, but he's always hurt and he hasn't been healthy for the playoffs. Except for last season, which then he got hurt in the game anyway. On a cheap hit.
Skip is not a Clippers fan now. He just has to oppose the Lakers, and that's the team that he chooses to oppose, like Rich is talking about.
Yeah, because Shannon Sharp's a Lakers fan, so he's going to always root for the Clippers.
Yeah. Lakers or Bucks? Oof. You want to take that, Rich?
That's a 50. That's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I got to see the Bucks got to make the NBA Finals for me to believe in them, though, because I thought for sure they were going to sweep the Raptors last year. They were up 2-0, and then the Raptors turned it on and beat them 4 games in a row and ended that series. So until the Bucks make it to the big stage, I can't believe them. Giannis has never been in the NBA Finals. We don't know what's going to happen. LeBron James, as good as he is, the first time he was in there against the Dallas Mavericks, he disappeared. Well, that was his first time, but he disappeared in the finals. So we don't know how Giannis and the team are going to play.
I totally agree with you because I remember last year they had the lead over the Raptors, and everybody thought, Giannis is gonna take this because 2-0, usually you have that lead, you're gonna win the series, but they lost it, and they lost to Kawhi actually, and I was just like really devastated because I wanted the Bucks to go. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the Lakers have more experience in the playoffs. Even if those two have faced in the finals, I think that playoff experience is going to matter more because LeBron's been in the finals and all that, and they've never actually been there. Giannis never been there. But I would love if the Bucks won. If the Bucks won, I'd be so happy for them because it's been a while since they've won something like that. Saquon Barkley or Zeke personally, and not her personally. I think Saquon is the better running back. What do you think here, Rich?
I am a huge Barry Sanders fan.
Yeah.
Loved watching Barry run around in the 90s. If you guys have not seen Barry Sanders, watch a highlight reel of his top 10 plays. He was elusive. He wasn't the fastest player in the NFL, but he was quick. He was shifty, and he could take a negative 5-yard run and make it look like the greatest play in that NFL history. Mm-hmm. A little trivia here for you. Barry Sanders is the all-time leader in the NFL from negative yards from scrimmage. Yeah. And he still averaged 5 yards a carry running because his team sucked. So the reason I'm mentioning him is Saquon Barkley is really the first player I've seen that reminds me of Sanders, where he'll get a couple plays for a yard or two, he'll run around the line for a little bit, and then just shift, cut, and then gone 75 yards, take it to the house. Ezekiel Elliott is a good running back, and I do think he's a better power runner north to south. He's also had the benefit of having one of the best offensive lines in football since he came into the league. I mean, hell, DeMarco Murray, before Ezekiel came in, ran for 1,800 yards. DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. DeMarco Murray wasn't the same after that, and that's true. The offensive line for the Cowboys is a lot better than the Giants.
So I would take Barkley. My only concern with Barkley is hopefully this injury he had last season is an anomaly, and it's not a recurring thing. I get what you're saying. A question for me, okay. Will Vucevic break out in the playoffs? I cannot predict that. I hope he does. I'm a huge Vucevic fan. I know a lot of people say he got overpaid, but he's one of our best players, him and Aaron Gordon. So I love Vucevic. I think he's a great center. So I would love to see him break out. I can't predict if he will, though. Do you think Vucevic will break out in the playoffs, Rich? I have no idea.
You can never tell about these things. That's the thing. Also, this is the question I have. Do you think these NBA players will be the same after this long rest that they have? Because I feel like they would be somewhat rusty unless they've been practicing.
Practice? You talking about practice?
Yeah, that was a great press conference.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be too much rust. I mean, these guys are professionals. When you talk about LeBron James has been in the league since, he was 18 or 19, almost 20 years. The players that have been here for a long time, it's going to be like tying a shoe, riding a bike. I think they're going to be fine. Maybe some of the rookies might struggle, but overall, I think the vets are going to be fine. I mean, they're going to be training. They'll have plenty of weeks of practice before the season starts. Maybe the first game or two might be a little, but overall, I don't think it's going to be too bad.
Chris Senor, what's up? Welcome to the show. Cowboys X Factor, welcome. Yep, that's what we're saying, Alex. Imagine Barkley behind that Cowboys offensive line. He would be, I can't imagine, because the Cowboys still have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL,
Well, Alex Ford's a great comparison. You were not alive. I don't know if you probably weren't watching football much, but in the 90s we had Barry Sanders versus Emmitt Smith.
I do remember that, but I was very young. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Not
going to take anything away from Emmitt Smith. He is a great running back. He's a Hall of Fame running back, and he earned his career rushing yardage leader and touchdown leader stats, whatever. But he played with one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history in the 90s. Had a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Barry Sanders had Scott Mitchell, Rodney Peete at quarterback. So doubt in my mind Barry Sanders greater than Emmitt Smith.
And that is why the debate usually comes down to Barry Sanders is better than Emmitt because he had less talent, like in terms of the offensive line. Also, he played less than Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith had a longer career.
So that was by choice. Barry decided to retire when he was on top. He was tired of losing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that happens a lot with the Lions players. That happened with Calvin Johnson as well. He retired too, too early. He could have.
Think about that. What you just said. The Detroit Lions have been blessed to have one of the greatest running backs of all time and maybe one of the greatest wide receivers all time. And both players had no playoff success.
Oh, my God. So true. Who wins the AFC North? He thinks it's the Ravens, Steelers, I would have the Browns before the Steelers, and then Steelers, then Bengals. What about you? How would you organize it?
Ravens first, definitely. Bengals last. Yes, they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Baker Mayfield was great his rookie season. He gets OBJ, and we're thinking, well, he's going to be much better this year having another wide receiver, and he regresses and starts throwing pickles left and right. Ben Roethlisberger's coming back from a serious injury, and I hate to say this, but Juju Smith-Schuster, however it goes, I don't think he's as good as people thought he was that breakout year because defenses were keen on Antonio Brown on the other side. He's good. You have a very old Ben Roethlisberger coming off surgery to his throwing arm. I don't know. Mike Tomlin can get one more juice out of the squeeze with Roethlisberger, but I think the Browns and Steelers are going to be very close. Who finishes before the other? Don't know.
Yes, yeah, that's a great point. So, best wide receiver in the league. That was a great question. Who do you think is the best wide receiver in the league?
I mean, Michael Thomas broke the record for receptions last year. He catches, 75% or more of what's thrown to him?
He had 149 receptions, Rich. He almost had 150.
Wow. I mean, what he's doing is just ridiculous. And he's not the fastest wide receiver in the league. He just finds ways to get open. And it's hard not to say a guy that catches 149 balls is not the best wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah, for me, he's the best. Now, if you're talking about who's up there with him, I would say DeAndre Hopkins, another great guy. But like you said, Michael Thomas, you don't have to be fast. See, these people in the NFL think that having a fast receiver is always the best, but I like the guys personally. I guess I grew up with the older NFL. I like the guys that are they'll get you the first down. They're those type of guys that will, they don't have to break out, but Michael Thomas can still break out too. So he's just such a great talent, and I think he's right now the best. So I'm glad that we agree on that. But I could see arguments for other receivers as well, like I said.
It's funny you said the guy that gets you the first down and somebody whose career was much too short, and I'm sure you would agree as a Giants fan, is Victor Cruz was one of those guys who just gets the first down.
Yeah.
But off would take it 90 yards and do a little salsa at the end. It was
Victor Cruz was a guy you throw him like a 5-yard pass and he could have been gone all the way, or he could have just got enough for the first down. Like he was I remember him, and it sucks that his career was shortened due to injuries. It's terrible.
Yep.
Who wins MVP this season? I hate these types. It's so hard. Like, I like to see something, but
a quarterback.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quarterback most likely. Most of the times it is a quarterback, but which quarterback? It could be Mahomes again. It could be.
It's so hard for somebody that's not a quarterback to win the MVP. I mean, I did a live stream with OGR Sports last week, and people said, "Do you think Saquon Barkley can win an MVP?" And I said, or actually asked if he can win in 2020, and I said, "Look. The Giants probably aren't finishing better than 8-8, and 9-7 is a pipe dream. You're not going to win the MVP if you're playing on a 500 team. They're going to look at the quarterback that's on the team that's 13-3 or 14-2.
Yeah, the only way it would be like he took the team to the playoffs by himself, And I agree with you, it's very hard for a running back. And I love Saquon, and I think I really think he's the best. And it's not just because he's on the Giants, just because of the talent that he is. If he was even on the Cowboys, I would say, because I thought Ezekiel Elliott, he was showing, and I feel like Ezekiel Elliott has slowed down. He hasn't put the same production as he usually.
I don't know. He might have been injured last year. He definitely was tapering off a bit in the second half of the season. Maybe they weren't disclosing an injury. I would still. I mean, if you had to choose between him and, top 20 guy at the near the bottom, I would certainly take Zeke. I think he's still a top 5 running back in the NFL.
So Alex Sports said Thomas, Evans, and Hopkins. Oh, Evans, I feel like you have a little too high. I do love him. I think he's a great receiver, but I like Hopkins better. How would you feel? Who else would you put in? I also put Julio still. Like, so great. Like still, he can still do it.
Mike Evans, I think, is a little bit underrated though. He just every year comes out and he's never had a season less than 1,000 yards. Oh, geez.
We got controversy here. Steelers fan wants to see AB come back. He's in terms of talent, he's up there also in top receivers in terms of talent, but he's just crazy. I don't know what to do with this guy. I don't know what.
Dude, it was the hit. I've seen people say this. Maybe it's true, maybe not. But that hook he took from Vontaze Burfict in the playoffs that knocked him loopy and completely knocked him out. he started getting a little weird after that, and maybe he had some sort of traumatic brain injury from that hit. I mean, he got leveled, and maybe he hasn't been the same since then. And hopefully, he can get his act together because he's amazingly talented on the field, but a knucklehead off the field, and that applies to unfortunately a lot of athletes. Great on the field or the court, but doofus is off. And when people ask me why do I like David Robinson and Eli Manning, I'm like, look, they're not only champions on the court and on the field. David Robinson and Eli Manning were champions outside of the sport, very charitable, winning man of the year, etc. They were legit role models outside of sports.
Yeah, that matters a lot. And I feel like in the wide receiver position, you have a lot of, not all of them, but you have a lot of diva receivers like that. Even Odell with the Giants was he was getting to that level. And that's what sucks, because.
Yep. Go ahead, finish your thought, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the fact, I wanted him to stay on the Giants as long as he could, but he was getting so frustrating for me that actually when they traded him and I saw what they got, I was very happy. Everybody else was not so happy because they think we didn't get as much. But now when you look at it and you look at DeAndre Hopkins, you look at all the other receivers, you're like, wow, we got a lot. We got a first-round pick. We got a third-round pick. And we got Zeitler. No, not Zeitler. Sorry, we got Jabril Peppers. And you're like, wow, there you go. Yeah. And I like all those things that we got. What do you think?
Odell is first. I don't think he's been the same since his ankle injury.
Yes.
So maybe unloading him might have been a good idea. He has been dinged up a lot in his career. He did play all 16 games last year, but easily had his worst season. 2, I think Eli Manning may have made him a better receiver than he actually was. And you're probably right with me, like this guy's crazy.
No. I agree with you because he threw him the ball a lot.
He would try to throw him open and always give him opportunities to go for the ball. Where Baker's not doing that. Mm-hmm. So that helped. I think the worst thing to happen to OBJ is that Dallas Cowboys game we lost where he caught that touchdown where he was getting pass interfered with like 3 fingers because then his head got big. The ego grew, I think, at that moment where he thought he was bigger than the game, and then he was kicking field goal nets and then proposing to him, and it just became a sideshow attraction that was not good, and he became a diva. And my man OGR always says it, Amir, he says, how many diva wide receivers win a Super Bowl?
That's true. Not many.
None.
No.
Jerry Rice was not a diva. He just went out there and was the best wide receiver in the NFL his career.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I was going to say, though, when you talked about the Odell thing, which is great, because I think Baker actually likes throwing to Jarvis Landry more. If you saw, most of his passes went to him. He had more receptions than Odell. He was more productive, and he also didn't have the injuries. That's what and if you look back, when I did make a video about when Odell got traded, and I looked back at it, and I laughed because I mentioned the injuries that you mentioned. And I remember back then people getting on me and saying, what are you talking about? And that was actually on the Movie Critic when I made that because it happened. And I was so shocked because, Odell getting traded, that's big news no matter what. And when I made it, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is good. We got a first, third. Usually we get a first-round pick for a receiver. And we got other stuff with it.
People forget his last 2 years with the Giants, he played 4 games and 12 games respectively. That means he missed an entire season of football in 2 years. That's a great player, and one of those players that we were just talking about, similar to Victor Cruz, he could take a 7-yard slant and then he's gone 80 yards. But he didn't really do that much in Cleveland. So, I'm not going to root against the guy. I'm not going to sit there and hope somebody fails at their job.
No,
but you know what? New York plays Cleveland this year, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Bradbury will be on Beckham, I'm sure.
So Saints 12-4, Tampa Bay 11-5, Falcons 8-8, Panthers 5-11. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't know if they're going to win 11 games. I think they're going to probably win around 9 or 10. What do you think about all these predictions here with these records here?
Saints, that's probably about right. Depending on Drew Brees' health, he was dinged up last year and missed a few games. Although they actually, I think, were the undefeated when Teddy Bridgewater started. Yeah,
I think they lost maybe 1 game with him. I'm not sure right now, to be honest.
You're pretty damn good when he was in as a backup.
I think he won every game except 1. I'm pretty sure you're right. Either that or undefeated, one of those. Yeah.
The Bucs are tough because last year it was a record-setting year. Mm-hmm. Jameis Winston is the only player in NFL history to throw at least 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in the same season. Plus, he threw 5,000 yards. So everybody's saying, well, Tom Brady comes in. If Jameis Winston can throw over 5,000 yards, surely Tom Brady can. Well, Jameis Winston's a hell of a lot younger and more mobile than Tom Brady at this point. And I'm willing to bet he has more arm strength, too. Brady probably more accurate, but I'm going to guess Jameis Winston, at his age, has more arm strength. Gronkowski coming back is exciting. Look, I'm not a Patriots fan, not a Bucs fan, but Gronkowski, when healthy, he's fun to watch. Whether you love him or hate him, he's like the Incredible Hulk out there. He's just running people over and stiff-arming them off the field. And if he can be 80% of the Gronk he was in New England, if Brady can somehow find the fountain of youth again, when he's going to be 43 going into this season, they could be a fun team to watch because he could arguably have the best receiving core he's ever had. He had Randy Moss and Wes Welker. Yeah, that was certainly great. But if you Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and maybe a healthy Gronk, I think those three greater than those other two.
Yeah.
It all depends on Gronk's health and Brady. What can he do at 43? So Tampa Bay could possibly go disappoint at 9-7 or shock us at 12-4. They're all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
They have a good line. Brady's gonna need protection. Time will tell. The Falcons, I don't trust them because they have not been the same since they blew that Super Bowl lead.
They're still not recovered from this.
I truly don't think they've recovered. That just crushed their souls. And then the Panthers, they lost one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Luke Kuechly retires. Cam Newton's out of there. Ron Rivera's out of there. It's Christian McCaffrey and whoever. So I think they're going to be rebuilding. If they get 5 wins, they'll be lucky.
Yeah.
They'll watch James Bradbury. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
They signed Eli Apple, by the way. Good luck.
Eli Apple. That was a funny signing when I saw that. Damian Estrada asked, do you think Kaepernick will come back? I really don't think so. I think it's just over with him.
It's too bad because the skills were still there.
Yeah.
He got blacklisted or blackballed or however you call it. And the owners didn't want, similar to Tim Tebow, they didn't want the media hoopla that came with signing that type of player. And
it becomes a distraction. And yeah, people want to stay away from that. And that's the thing, It's just that same thing with Antonio Brown. Great talent. All right, if he didn't have any of the stuff going on with him, what a talent he would have been. If he didn't have all that craziness going on, he would have still been playing. He still would have been on a team somewhere. I'm pretty sure somebody would definitely sign him.
Well, he would have been on the Patriots.
Yeah, or the Raiders. He would have stayed on the Raiders. Because remember the Raiders.
Antonio Brown. He gets traded from the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Raiders gave up 2 picks for him, and at first we're thinking this is a steal of the century. I think they gave up a 3rd and 5th for Antonio Brown. He says, "I ain't playing for you." So then he gets released. So they gave up 2 picks for nothing, and then he goes to the one team the Steelers did not want him to go to, the Patriots. That Patriots season is completely different if they have a #1 elite wide receiver like Antonio Brown.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, Jared.
That was crazy to me. Like, you give up 3rd and 5th. I was like, that's a steal. Are you kidding me? Why didn't the Giants do this, even though he's a knucklehead? He wasn't that much of a knucklehead at that time, though. He got way worse after that, Rich. I feel like he got way worse after the Raiders. The Raiders, and all that. Then, he's another guy. I feel like ego got to his head, and he's probably got other underlying issues that I don't know about, so I don't want to assume. Yeah. Wow, this is interesting. Seahawks 12-4, Cardinals 10-6, 49ers 8-8, and Rams 5-11. I always love when people do stuff like this.
49ers 8-8. The NFC Conference champs are falling off a cliff and regressing to 8-8.
Oof. It could be possible. I mean,
anything's possible. Hey, look, Jimmy Garoppolo is 1 injury away from that team being knocked out.
That's all it would take.
Garoppolo last year was the first year he was healthy for 16 games. So
yeah,
I hope he's shaking the injury bug. Matt Stafford, remember Matt Stafford?
Stafford.
His shoulder couldn't stay in one piece his first 2 seasons. Until this year, he shook the injury bug. So it's not impossible to Garoppolo to play 16 games again. But man, he is fragile.
Yeah.
NFC East prediction by Jared in there.
NFC East. This is what I've got. Jared Williams says Cowboys 11-5, Eagles 9-7, Giants 8-8. This is actually what I see happening. Very similar. Redskins 7-11. Actually, a lot of these I agree with. Very good prediction, Jared. I think you did it almost spot on right there. I'm not even that's what I would have around that. Yeah. What do you think, Rich? Do you think that's good?
I don't think the best team will be that good. I think the best we'll see out of the NFC East is 10-6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, when I did the Cowboys prediction, I gave them a 10-6 record. So, but I'm saying the way that he has it in terms of the teams, I agree with. I don't know about the records per se. I do like that he said Giants 8-8. I had them at 7-9 while looking at, because we do have a very tough schedule. That's the thing.
I think it's pretty close. So I think the Cowboys 10-6 is where I'm leaning at. Eagles 9-7, probably about right. Giants 8-8 was my prediction. Redskins, I might put them 4-12.
Wait, what kind of question is this? Matt Ryan or Drew Brees? I don't even need to think about that. Drew Brees.
I mean, we're talking all time. Yeah, Brees. Brees has won a Super Bowl and has numerous NFL records.
Brees is better than him right now too, though, Rich. That's the funny thing. It's just
yeah, probably.
that was a good question, though. I mean, I guess some people you can. When Matt Ryan went to the Super Bowl, he was amazing that year, and then he messed up in that Super Bowl.
No, it's the whole team. The coaching staff. That was
everybody messed up on the offensive side.
Team effort to blow that game, and the Patriots really, if you think about it, they're 6-5 in Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. They could really be 4-7 because Seattle had the worst play call ever in Super Bowl history with that pass at the end of the game that Russell Wilson got picked off on, and then the Falcons just had the ultimate choke job. The only team, little trivia for you guys, the only teams to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl are from the NFC East.
Yes, I know. I say that all the time. It's either the Eagles or the Giants.
And it's doofy Eli Manning and doofy Nick Foles on top of that.
That's the type of quarterbacks you need. I feel like those quarterbacks, they get hot in the playoffs. When they get hot in the playoffs, they maintain it. And those guys you don't want to face because they just clutch in the playoffs when it comes to that kind of moments.
Really weird. Another quarterback that's coming to the end of his career. A lot of people don't like him, and especially Joe Flacco.
I just said it. I guessed it.
Are very similar. Where now Eli, I'll say, was a better regular season quarterback than Flacco.
Mm-hmm. But Flacco
had an elite. Now Eli did it twice. Flacco did it once, but both had an elite playoff run and got their team to Super Bowl victory. It's weird how somebody that's average or above average just becomes elite for one stretch. It happens.
Jimmy G or Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson. I know.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Brady
Russell
or
Wilson, Kelsey. I mean, Russell Wilson is running for his life every year because he has no O-line, and he still puts up numbers. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and somebody asked Brady or Brees. I think it's Brady. Brady is the best quarterback of all time, in my opinion. I hate to say it, but I think so. Because I didn't get to see Joe Montana really play. I know he was amazing as well. Did you get to see Joe Montana play, Rich?
I did. The first Super Bowl I watched was the Redskins and Broncos in '87, but I did see the two Super Bowls that the 49ers won after that with Joe Montana piloting it. And then I watched the NFC Conference Championship that next year when Leonard Marshall squished Joe Montana. I didn't see enough of him. And like when people ask me, somebody in the chat earlier said Walter Payton or Barry Sanders. I can't do that comparison because I didn't see Walter Payton play. Yeah. I can look at his football card or look online, I guess. All right, those are his statistics, but I didn't get to see him play. And watching highlight reels is not really the same thing. If people say who are your top 10 of anything, I say from when I started watching. So I started watching NBA around 1990. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go 1990 up. Same thing with the NFL. Started around late 80s, 1990s when I really became a fan. And I'm just going to do my top players from that era because I didn't get to watch Kareem or Wilt Chamberlain or Jim Brown. I mean, most people say Jim Brown's the greatest running back of all time. It was such a different era. He played in an era where you could level a guy and knock his head off and they wouldn't throw a flag. Whereas today, you little poke and like flag. So
there you go. Yeah, that's also something that always matters. I always feel like the leagues get softer as the years go by too.
It's softer because what sells?
Yeah.
Low scoring games or high scoring games?
Yeah, high scoring games. I'll be honest.
Yeah. People talk about LeBron versus Jordan. That's always a debate about who's the GOAT. And I always say Jordan for any one reason. This is not a knock LeBron, but I always say this for anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can be the GOAT in any sport if you had a losing record in the finals.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a different era. I mean, players, the 90s were my favorite era, and the Magic were really good in the 90s. I don't know if you're watching one of Shaq and Penny.
I did. That's actually when I started watching basketball in the early 90s. That's how I became a Magic fan because we drafted Shaquille O'Neal. He was so
amount. I would say that the players today obviously are more skilled, probably better shooters, but would they be able to play in a league where they were getting elbowed in the face and elbowed Pistons? The players today would be like, "What the hell is this? You can't touch me!" And wham! It's crazy.
I'll admit this. I never saw the Bad Boy Pistons play because I was too young. But I will say I saw the documentary 30 for 30. Yeah. Oh my God.
30 for I would say they were in The Last Dance too, the Jordan.
The Last Dance as well. But that too. But they also made a special 30 for 30 called on the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I have not.
Really good documentary. And yeah, I love it. And yes, they were in The Last Dance as well. So they keep occurring. And then like in the 2000s, they were physical again, kind of. They weren't the same bad boy Pistons, but that's probably the most you got after that in terms of physicality. Because now basketball, you can't even blow on somebody. Like you can't do nothing. Nothing. That's just everything is a foul. Like it's just insane. Especially
Shaq wouldn't be able to play in today's NBA because he would lower that shoulder and throw 325 pounds into your body in the 90s. If he did that today, they would probably call an offensive foul every time he's down there.
Ooh, somebody brought this up. You saw Montana play, so I'm going to let you take this. Montana was the man. It would be hard for Brady to have his Super Bowls in the Montana era.
Here's the thing with that. Brady, we had a rule change, the tuck rule. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Tom Brady in the early 2000s played against the Raiders in the AFC Conference Championship. And I think this was his first Super Bowl he ended up going to. And he went to throw the ball, and he brought it down like he was getting ready to run, and then he fumbled the ball. And they called it an incomplete pass, which was the most ridiculous thing. They've since changed the rule, and the Patriots became a dynasty since then. But we've also seen a lot of occurrences where Brady's just been touched and the flag comes out for the golden boy. He's been coddled. He's been coddled a lot, and that's why the Giants beat him twice, because we got to him. And he is just as human as any other quarterback. When there's pressure in his face, he's not that good. That's how he beat Tom Brady. So could he play in the 80s where Lawrence Taylor would take your head off, where quarterbacks were afraid of Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And that is a great point, because that's how we beat them with Michael Strahan and that defense, that pass rush. Oseum and you had players coming at Brady, and Brady was always, he was always like you said, protected by that offensive line, but the Giants were able to get through. And if you remember that, actually, when they were undefeated, do you remember what Brady said? What he laughed at? Do you remember what he laughed at, Rich? He laughed because the Giants said that they wouldn't score more than 17 points, and he laughed at that, and they scored less than that. That's the funny part.
It's funny, since we're talking about this, we'll do a little revisionist history here. The worst thing that ever happened to New England Patriots that year when they were 18-0 is they played the New York Giants in Week 17.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And the Giants had nothing to play for, but neither did the Patriots. And the Giants were getting criticized in the media for playing their starters because they had nothing to play for. The Patriots were 15-0. They had the best record locked up.
They still played everybody, yeah.
And if you watch some Giants videos, Michael Strahan has this, big thing before the game. It's like, what do you mean we have nothing to play for? They have nothing to play for. The team was fired up, and they were the only team that really gave the Patriots a challenge, and they lost that game 38-35. But they were competitive the whole game. And a lot of Patriots fans have talked to Bobby from Butcher's Block of Patriots Talk. He said that after that happened, a lot of Patriots fans were saying, we don't want to see the Giants in the Super Bowl, man. We do not. And sure enough.
Yep, that's true. And Alex is so funny. LT versus Brady. He would light him up like a Christmas tree. Oh, man. Yeah, it's very hard to compare eras. I mean, especially I didn't see Montana play. I did see some of, the older games that they always show, but that's about it. But I know he was amazing. And I would.
He'll always get that. Well, he had Jerry Rice. He had Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
2 of his Super Bowls. The first 2 Super Bowls, Jerry Rice wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
That's what I know too. 4 in the Super Bowl. The Patriots have had a little bit of luck, similar to, no disrespect, but LeBron's career in the Eastern Conference, let's be honest, there wasn't a lot of competition. In the AFC East, it's been pretty much suck almost the whole time Brady's been there. So they almost always had a playoff spot punch because the competition was not there. The Jets were okay for a couple years, but come on, butt fumble was the quarterback then.
Butt fumbles. And that's the thing. I remember the Jets being pretty good with that defense. They had
Revis Island.
Yes. Revis, they had people who could come, they had linebackers, all that stuff. So, but this is a great prediction, except I don't see the Browns only winning 6 games. That would be really bad for them. Oh, my God. What do you think about this prediction here? That's just kind of tough. 6 games.
I don't know what to make of the Browns going to the next season.
I know, but I really did like their offseason, and I know they had talent last year. But I think also last year, you could say Baker fell off also because of sophomore slump, and this is a whole new team. I guess we'll see, right? But 6-10, I just feel like it's too harsh for the Browns.
And that would be bad for them.
Everything else seemed okay, but think
That'd be bad for OBJ to have. Hey, you know what? While I'm here, this is a totally random question to anybody in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm looking to buy a Daniel Jones jersey. Is there a good place to buy one besides NFL.com? Because those things aren't cheap. And believe it or not, Amir, I'm looking for a Kristen Press jersey, my favorite soccer player, which is probably pretty obvious if you go to my page. She's all over the damn place.
Always there, yeah.
Her jerseys are like $120. I'm like, what? It's just like a polo shirt.
Yes, I saw that. I saw, like, you know, what's so funny is that I do look at jerseys and they are pretty pricey. If you want a good quality jersey, they're over 100 every time. I don't really know a good website that I can get under that.
Yeah. I mean, just like I'd expect to spend 75 to 100 because I want to buy a knockoff that's
exactly. You want to buy something, but this is a thing also that also gets really tricky. It's like if you buy a player's jersey and they get traded or whatever, do you still wear it? That's the thing that I hate because that happened to me, man. I bought it, the Odell one, and it just
say OBJ.
OBJ, yes.
When did you get it? Did you get it at least his rookie year?
Yeah. I had it.
Okay, you got a couple years out of it at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my concern too. Like, I get a Daniel Jones jersey and he has a serious injury, and
yeah. Let's go to Daniel Jones. When he got selected, did you have a meltdown like Entertain and Bad Dog?
Threw a chair.
You threw a chair? Wait, did you go live for it? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a reaction video on my channel. I got up and left the room swearing and cursing, and then I stepped on the chair and threw it off the table.
Yes,
not one of my brightest moments.
I mean, that is a pretty, like, you know, crazy reaction to have. But the Bad Dog and Entertain, oh my God, their reaction was hilarious till this day. I can't. It's just so funny. But I'm gonna rewatch that. I swear to you, Rich, I will rewatch your reaction because I'm having a bad memory thing right now. But I will rewatch that and I will comment you what I think.
It's funny. It's actually a double reaction. I won't spoil that something funny happens when Dwayne Haskins is drafted, and I get a little carried away there too because I originally thought that's who we were drafting.
Rich, let me tell you something. I wasn't doing the sports. This channel wasn't around, but I had the same reaction. I wasn't happy with the Daniel Jones. I wanted Dwayne Haskins. That is the quarterback that I thought we should have got. Now looking at it, I don't know. You know, but also Dwayne Haskins playing on the Redskins, so it's always tough to tell who's going to be good and who's not. But
in his defense, people are like, "Oh, Dwayne Haskins sucks." I'm like, "Well, timeout.
Plays on the Redskins.
Throwing to. Who's he handing the ball off to? I'm not going to crush a kid after one season when he's playing on a team that's essentially garbage and has been messing up their franchise over the last decade plus with Dan Snyder as the owner. So little timeout. I don't think he's done yet. Ron Rivera's in there. Maybe he can straighten the kid out. And I was, just like you, I'm like, I was expecting Dwayne Haskins or Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, I wanted. If we didn't get Dwayne Haskins, I wanted Josh Allen. Yeah. And I'm like, the thing was the day before, if you remember, the night before, everybody was saying Daniel Jones is going to be the selection. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, that's far-fetched. That's not going to happen. And it actually happened. And I was like so pissed because he went to a small school. He he was like a second round talent, I think, or third. And
second round.
And he went first, like right after Kyler Murray. I was shocking. I was like, what? And
that's another quarterback I think we want. I think we're all like, come on, you just took. I
knew the Cardinals were going to take him.
Who's that?
If they took both, that could have worked out, but that never happened. Yeah.
Who's the guy that went to Miami?
Miami?
The quarterback, white guy. I hate to play the race card. He's a white guy. He got drafted by the Cardinals, played 1 year, and then got
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen. Yeah, I was hoping, like, maybe they won't take Kyler Murray because they have Josh Rosen now.
that was all. I knew it once the coach said he really loved Kyler Murray. If you remember, there was like a video that resurfaced. Yeah. But you're absolutely correct. There was somewhat of a chance because they were lying to the media and they were saying, we love Josh Rosen. What are you guys talking about? Hey, even teams do that. Like,
he goes from a bad situation in Arizona to a worse situation in Miami.
So you know why I hate that, Rich? Because they had the first pick. Nobody could do anything. No matter what, they get the guy unless they trade it. So what are they should have just been honest, I felt like, because they traded Rosen then, and then he went to another bad team in Miami. It's like he cannot catch a break. You see, I don't know. This is another guy. I will never say he's bad because he's been on really bad situations. And also, I like to give a quarterback at least 3 or 4 years to prove that, okay, this guy doesn't have it. I don't know if he'll ever have a chance again, though. To be honest, he's probably a backup forever somewhere, unless some team trades for him or something,
bad, wrong place at the wrong time 2 times because Arizona, David Johnson was not, of course, no, Arizona anymore, was not who he was. The offensive line was garbage.
Offensive line was.
And then he goes to Miami, where in the same bad situation with Ryan Fitzmagic's there. It's just he couldn't catch a break. And by the way, I saw Alex said he had an OBJ jersey. I looked on NFL.com. I was looking at jerseys. You can get an OBJ jersey brand new for $40 if anybody wants one. Giants jersey, mind you.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Landon Collins is there on special. Eli Apple as well. All $40.
Yeah.
No thanks.
That's the thing. There's a few times where that happened. On the Magic, I had somebody, and then I had Dwight Howard, and he was traded, and I got mad, so I threw his jersey because Dwight Howard kept complaining. I don't know. You were watching basketball, obviously, back then. Do you remember how much Dwight Howard wanted to get out of Orlando? And the funny thing is, once he gets out of Orlando, he ain't the same player ever again. It's crazy.
I will say I'm very lucky there, especially as a Spurs fan, that David Robinson, Tim Duncan, played entire careers with San Antonio. Manu Ginobili played his career. Tony Parker had that one extra season where he didn't play the Spurs. For the most part, Eli Manning played his whole career with the Giants. Tiki Barber played his whole career with the Giants. A lot of my favorite players, at least in the NFL and NBA, have stayed with one team.
Giants usually don't trade players. If you look at it, they usually keep on. Like you said, Tiki played, Eli played, Amani Toomer played. There are a lot of players that. Huh?
It's not a tumor.
Oh, yeah. No.
Sorry.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Guys, check out Rich. I have his channel in the I have his channel in the description. So definitely subscribe to him. Such a great YouTuber. I love the fact that, movies and sports is something that we both agree on. And I remember people saying, you should concentrate on one, and I kind of agreed with it, but now I see what you're saying, especially with your channel. I see that you've been doing a lot of Stuck in the 80s content, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I always loved it. But it's already, those were pre-recorded from a while ago. It's not like.
Yeah, I'll mention this to the chat. So what I did was I had 72 episodes done and maybe 15 that weren't unaired. 72 done. I was cranking out 4 or 5 a week. I was out of work for like 2 months, and I was doing a whole bunch of those. And a lot of people wanted it to come back. And it has a small following, but I was like, you know what? I have family that really liked this, close friends that liked it. I want to bring it back, but bring it back in a different way. And I mentioned I had an independent film channel for a decade, and I have tons of movies that are just that I wouldn't upload because, quite frankly, they're not good. They're 15 minutes of blah, 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 blah. But in every one of those movies, guys, there's usually one hilarious or two hilarious scenes. So taking the best scenes and just cutting them into a trailer and now putting a fake trailer before every Stuck in the 80s. And everybody seems to really be loving the fake trailer. So I'm like, all right. And I think what that does is we have no sports right now, Amir. It's hard to grow your channel. We have NASCAR. I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that. No, I can't. And Korean baseball.
No, hell no. So we're not going to have any real sports again for, except for the UFC. Well, I'm sorry, not real sports, but sports that I want to cover until next month. And I was like, you know what? Sports is a great way to grow your channel. Live streaming sports will bring viewers in too. And sports news will bring people in too. But sports news is always here and now. A week later, a lot of times people don't care. Maybe reaction videos, the crazy reaction will still have some views months away. But for the most part, sports are the here and now, unless you're doing something controversial. I found that out. Quick note, when I did a video about the U.S. women's national team losing to the boys team, the under 15, my video exploded when they lost their lawsuit. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I figured I need a good foundation because the key to being successful on YouTube, and this is not knocking about live streams only, is I think you need content besides just live streaming.
More videos and stuff like that.
You need more videos. I'm like, you know what? Stuck in the 80s, while it doesn't have a huge following, is a good foundation because that's something somebody can watch 6 months from now.
Yeah, anytime.
A year from now. Movie reviews, as you're aware, will always be relevant in some way because somebody let me look up a review of Friday the 13th Part 6. This guy reviewed it. It's something it's a good foundation because it's content that always get viewed just a little bit throughout the year. And I think that's why I brought it back too. I'm like, I enjoy it. People enjoyed it. And I think it's just a nice little foundation that maybe after the next few months, maybe I'll take a few years. I think it'll eventually catch a little following. Hopefully.
You know what else is funny was that when you were doing Stuck in the 80s, I really wanted to do we both go to a movie theater and we watch it and then we do a collab movie review kind of thing. I did this actually with the Sports Fury. I did on Movie Critic. Guys can check it out if you want. The Avengers. Yes, and that was great, and that was so much fun because they also love movies a lot. People think they're only sports guys. No, they watch movies and shows and all that, and talk about it all the time. Even till this day, we talk about that kind of stuff, And I know Rich is a huge movie buff as well,
Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't have too many hobbies, Amir, because I have sports.
Yes.
I've got the movies thing. I'm a musician, which takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I've already openly said on my channel I play Magic the Gathering Commander, which is
Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I remember that. Back in the 90s, that was really big, wasn't it?
The game has exploded in the last year in a bad way.
Oh, so it came back. Okay, so it's like
the format I play is a very casual, friendly format. I'm not going to get too big into this for people in the chat, but a lot of cards that I bought when I from 2011 when I got into it up until like 2018, because then I quit the game partially. I remember paying 25 cents for cards, 50 cents for cards, and now I look at them now and they're all like 40 to 50 bucks because the supply and demand is not there. And it's just another hobby. I'm a comic book guy. I don't just watch comic book movies. I collect comics. So I have so many freaking hobbies that I want to incorporate them on the channel. I just don't have time. I tried to put Magic content on the channel. I'm like, I can't sustain this when sports come back. I just can't. It takes too long to do a video and get a picture of every single freaking card and put it in there. It's just, can't do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing with the movie reviews. When I was doing it, it took a lot of time because I had to think about what I was going to say. Everything has to be written down in a way, but not like I didn't script it, written down in terms of like, I had to figure out what I was going to rate the review, what I was going to talk about, the actors, the action, all the sequences. And what I love is that you do the top 3 scenes, even in the bad movies, because even bad movies has good scenes. Like, what was that, Ghoulies today? I was looking at the Ghoulies.
Oh, God.
And that movie gave like a 2.5 or something.
Yeah, it was still pretty bad.
Oh, 3.5. Yeah, I remember it was really low. And I agree with that. But there was some scenes that even when you mentioned it, I was laughing. And I was like, yeah, I remember this movie was so bad and campy and cheesy, but it still did have these 3 scenes. Like, even in a garbage movie like that, you can find something. That's something that you did that was so great because I never even thought about that. When I hate a movie, I usually just go all the way and complete. But you found a way to like say, okay, these are great scenes, even though, or like funny scenes in these movies, even though they're bad. Because even the worst movie usually has some scene that you can enjoy, And
what I would do is I'd watch the movie and I'd had a little pad and I'd write down little things I liked and didn't like. And then I would write down scenes and eventually I'd write down 4 or 5 scenes and narrow it down to a top 3. Like, something has to be, every movie has to have something. The only movie I didn't give a top 3 scenes to was Adventures of Hercules. And I ragged on that and gave it 1 top scene. And I'm not going to say which one it is because people think it's hilarious when they watch the review because I really trashed that movie. Adventures of Hercules starring Lou Ferrigno. And he's dubbed and not in a good way.
Wow, that's crazy. Yes. So let's get back to chat for a little bit. Somebody talk about Dwight Howard. Yeah, Dwight Howard was a nice situation, but I knew when he wanted to leave, it wasn't going to work out anymore. Oh my God, it's the Giants Alliance. Welcome. This guy, he's a new Giants YouTuber, Rich. I don't know if you heard about him, but he's a new Giants YouTuber, and I found him today, and I really like how he does his live stream. He's growing.
Established 2020? Nice.
Yeah, he's trying to get his subscribers up. So, I always try to support any Giants YouTuber. Oh, and he actually does know the Giants pretty well. The stuff that he was saying was like a lot of stuff that I was agreeing with, and it was a lot of good points. Some points I didn't even think about he brought up today. Thank you for subscribing to both of us. I appreciate that. Giants Alliance said he subscribed to you. Yeah, guys, obviously subscribe to Rich, great YouTuber. And I've known Rich for over a year now. Yeah.
It's funny. You said football knowledge, and I will admit to not being the most knowledgeable Giants fan on the planet because I don't cover the Giants daily.
Yeah.
ODR Sports, buddy of mine, covers the Giants multiple times in the week. And because I cover 5 sports, it's hard to really be an expert on one. And sometimes we talk ODR Sports and we talking about like the weak side of the, and I'll be sitting there like, huh? Like, you just went over my head, dude. Like, I love the Giants, and I think that's why I like doing content with him because he comes from the more here, and I come from more here. And he's the more analytical guy, and I'm just more of a, the passionate.
We're all sports channels, but I feel like, some people just focus on the Giants and that's their thing. And that's great. And I'm like you, Rich. I focus on the Giants, but I also do focus on other sports. I call the NBA. I was calling baseball games. Now I'm going to try to get into UFC. And I'm actually trying to get into hockey as well. I used to watch hockey back in the day. I know you're not a big fan of hockey.
I called the Stanley Cup last year, and it was fun because the St. Louis Blues were like in last place in January and ended up being the Stanley Cup champion. What killed me about calling the NHL is the games started at 8. So I start my stream at 7:55 because most of us start probably 5 minutes before the game starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Face-off was not until 8:25.
Also, it's like basketball where it's delayed, but that's even more delayed.
It was even worse. So when people ask me, why do you like calling the United States women's national team so much? I'm like, well, one, because I do actually like the team. When the game says it starts at 1 p.m., they kick the ball usually at 1 p.m.
Like NFL.
45-minute half, 15-minute halftime or intermission, 45-minute second half. Done. It's usually 2 hours, and I love it.
That's a great point because I had that problem with the NBA all the time. NBA says 8 o'clock, but it only starts till 8:15 or 8:20.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's what I like about the NFL. It says 1 o'clock, boom, it's ready to go at 1. Usually NFL is pretty good with the time that they do. Magic or Grizzlies? I think the Magic are slightly better. What do you think, Rich, here?
I mean,
I feel like we have more better players, yet they have just John Morant. That's about it.
The Grizzlies are on the rise.
Can you? I'll just put Alex's link in the channel if you want, or you could just type in Alex Sports. I think he's the only guy that I know on YouTube that has that name, Alex Sports.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many Alex Sports one word on there. Sports with the Giants logo.
Yeah, without a space, and you'll find it within 2 seconds. If you can't find it, then I'll put it. I mean, I every time I put in Alex, actually, I put in Alex Sports, and yeah, it just pops up. He's the first guy. Even you, the Sports Reaction. I'm surprised that name hasn't been taken by anybody before you, has it?
There was a channel called Sports Reactions, which I ended up doing some videos for last summer as an experiment. That was a total waste of time. But when I searched for the Sports Reaction, I didn't find anything. I was like, really? In 2019, with all the sports channels, there's nothing called the Sports Reaction. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll go for that. And there it was.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? You're right, because I know you're a Giants fan, but I think of the Sports Reaction as just a like a lot of sports, because you really ventured out there. You started off with like football, basketball, all that kind of stuff, and then you went into like something I would never do, soccer, like women's soccer, I think, right? Women's soccer, you know, I would never do that. Like, I mean, because I don't know it at all. But you know, so talk about that to me. Like, how did it feel calling different sports after?
So my original plan when the channel started was to just be sports everything.
Okay.
And after. My channel has constantly fluctuated in content a little bit. And after like 9 or 10 months of that, I found out that's too hard. And I started focusing on just certain teams. For the NFL, I focus on the Giants. But I'll call for every sport, I'll call the playoffs because I'm going to watch it anyways. NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, etc. But for the NFL, I'm focusing on the Giants, the NBA, the Spurs. And admittedly, soccer was very popular. I'm like, well, let me give it a shot. Maybe it'll help my channel grow. So I watched Champions League and hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, the World Cup is this year. Let me watch this. And I was watching the United States women's team against France. I don't know. I can't remember. It was in July. And I admit this to everybody. I'm watching the game. I'm half interested. It was different, though, because I don't watch a lot of women's sports outside of maybe tennis.
Right.
Or volleyball, I guess, occasionally, or the Olympics. And I was watching. It was okay. And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, who's number 23? I like her. It was Kristen Press, spoiler alert.
Yes.
And I'm like, I need to see more of her. And I don't mean that in a sexual way, but apparently you can see more of her in the ESPN Body Issue if you're interested. And just saying. And I was like, I want to watch this again. I got to check out this, this girl's cute. And, maybe it was one of those weird things where I went into it for one reason, because it was popular. I admit it. I was checking out soccer because it's the most popular sport in the world. Mm-hmm. And then I find a girl I'm really attracted to on the team. And then I end up watching a couple of games. And then instead of watching the United States women's national team for, physical looks, because they have a few, Alex Morgan, I don't think anybody would say, she's obviously a beautiful woman as well. I ended up just liking the team because I was following a women's sport. And that was new to me because I watched so many men's sports. I should know the UFC women's MMA is amazing. Those girls tear it up.
Right.
Really cool book, and it's very easy to always root for the United States of America.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's great that you did it. I never would have thought of it, go ahead.
It's weird because by far it's my most watched content now. For live streams, it's not quite there yet with the NBA, but for uploaded content, every one of my Giants videos gets 200 views to maybe, a big reaction video to 1,000, and the women's videos are getting 300 to 2,000, but I have one video pushing 50,000 views. And it's like, I don't get that type of activity with the other sports, because I OGR said, I think I've found a good niche where there's not a lot of people covering the United States women's national team. And I can say now I honestly enjoy it. I did a lot of research on the team.
Yes.
I watched a lot of Kristen Press videos, not her playing, but her just hanging out. And then watching the team a lot this year, I'm like, not only my favorite player really good, like she can hit a chip shot that the men couldn't defend, but it's something that I enjoy now. And I found a new sport. Mm-hmm. I've made a lot of YouTube buddies like yourself, Alex Sports I've worked with. I've made a real life friend in OGR Sports. So it's been a fun last year and a half.
Yeah, no, it's true. And since we've been quarantined, I've seen a lot more people on YouTube than I've probably seen in real life.
Yeah.
Because what's going on with me, Rich, is that I'm literally working from home. So I don't really get to leave the house as much.
That's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's tough because New York City, you really can't go outside. As you know, we had the worst cases here. So I've been grinding on YouTube and coming live and just talking to people and all that stuff. And you find out what a great community the sports community is when it comes to that. But I want to go back to what you were talking about. When you did it, though, I was like, that is great. He found something he likes and, niche content. Like a lot of people wouldn't think it, but they're actually, it is soccer at the end of the day. So you're going to have soccer is actually the most watched sport. I don't know about women's soccer, but I know soccer is in general. So that was something that's great too. So wait,
men's soccer is watched more, and I did try doing Premier League. And I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just didn't, and it was on Sundays too, which conflicted with the NFL. And finally, I just gave up. People were like, "But you're good at it." I'm like, "But I'm not passionate about it." Premier League is on sometimes during the week too when I'm at work.
That's the thing.
And also, like Manchester City was a team I was going to follow. They play a lot of Champions League games, and because they play in Europe, those games are on at 2-3 p.m. during the week as well. So I'm like, I can't follow any one team, and I'm bound to whatever's being shown on the weekend. And they show different teams on NBC Sports every weekend. So it just got frustrating. I was like, you know what? I'm not enjoying it. Yeah, I was pulling in some views live stream wise, but in the end, I'm like, I want to call content and enjoy, and I do enjoy calling the United States Women's National Team.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. Do you also call like the women's UFC fights and stuff? That when you do the UFC, you do all of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Women's MMA
brutal. This guy says it's brutal here.
There was a championship fight. A Wiley, I'm messing up her name. I can't remember. Joanna Jędrzejczyk. His face was so puffed up from taking punches. She had so many hematomas. She looked deformed at the end of the fight. They had a 25-minute fight. I've never seen somebody's face get so destroyed. You can search Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll come up, and they have a before and after, and it is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, so this was the first UFC event that I saw this weekend, like I said, and it was amazing to watch. No fans. I saw it. So what I did actually was watch some of the older fights after, like, the guys that people know, like Conor McGregor and Khabib and all that. And I saw those with fans, and then I saw the ones without fans. And I got to tell you, Rich, without fans is kind of better. It's hard to say, like, because you get to hear more of the hits. You get to hear the shit talking. You get to hear all this stuff. You get to hear that. I didn't even know that their trainers are yelling at them. I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
The trainers are yelling with no crowd.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier, who is a former light heavyweight champion and heavyweight champion, is an announcer, and he's been calling the fights. And the fighters have been hearing his advice on how to get like out of moves or change styles, and it's been helping. They've credited him to changing and helping them win matches.
Who won the 2019 Stanley Cups? That was, I think, the Blues, right? The Blues.
Yep, they went from worst to first.
Yeah, that's actually I saw some of the finals. That was about it I saw, but so this is another thing. Because of this virus and stuff that happened, it's made me realize there's a lot of sports I don't watch, and maybe I should. And I used to watch hockey back in the day, but I stopped because I got so much more involved in football, basketball. But now I really want to see if I could if I would enjoy calling it, because I don't know if I could, but I'm going to give it a chance. And if I like calling it, then I'll continue it, because that's what you said. Like with the soccer, you called it the men's soccer and you didn't really enjoy it. So then you stopped. And that's very important. You got to enjoy what you do, because YouTube, I consider it like a job, but it's also a hobby too at the same time.
Hobby first. If you treat it like a job,
but I mean,
I will say this: hockey, give it a shot, because if you think you'll like it, it is hard.
It is.
Because the possession. It's not like the NBA where The puck is like bing, bing, bing.
No.
You can't keep up to who has the puck. It's like, okay, the Bruins have it. They can't. Well, the Bruins. It's ridiculous.
You're absolutely correct, and that's why I've been watching a lot of it, like highlights and clips and stuff, to see, if I would be able to call this. That same thing with the UFC. I never thought I would, but I'm like thinking.
There's one negative to the UFC, Amir.
What did you say? One negative?
There's one big negative.
I know what it is. The pay-per-view, right? The price is
$65 plus tax.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna see what I could do about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
I smell what you're cooking over there.
Oh my God. What's good, Anonymous? Thank you for joining. Anonymous, if you have not, please subscribe to the Sports Reaction. Great YouTuber. We've been talking for almost an hour and a half. I can't believe it. I feel like time flies so fast when you're just having fun and having discussions like this. And this is the best time, because normally, and I know this happens with you and this happens with me, when there's sports going on, we get busy with our channels. We don't really get as much time to collab, even though we want to, And then we have work on top of it. There's just a bunch of factors that people don't even know that go into it.
Last year, I mentioned my channel grew because of the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
But I was on here every single night and sometimes doing double headers. I would not do that again. It was every night, 2.5 hours, sometimes 5 hours. I was just like, I can't. It's not. I'm all for growing my channel, but in the end, I want to have fun first. And if I'm working an 8-hour shift, then coming home lifting weights, and then getting on here for 5 hours, that's my whole day in it. I can't do it.
That's an amazing point, because before, when I was working at work, like going to work, it takes me like an hour to get to work, right? So that's annoying. Commute is long, but it's worth it because I love my job. But yes, but like you said, when I get home from work, I'm tired. I don't even want to stream some nights. And then some nights when I get home, it's too late. The game already started or whatever. Now, they said we are working from home until September, until after Labor Day. It would have been sooner, but they're like redoing everything at our offices and stuff. I don't know about you. Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't even ask. Are you working from home, or are you actually going into your
I have been out of work since March, not out of work, but since March 24th, we've been working from home. And working by home, I mean, I'm doing online training, which doesn't take very long, to be honest with you. So I've been getting paid to not do much for almost 3 months. I'm finally going to get a work laptop, sounds like next week. But I'd rather go into the office because summer's coming, and I don't want to be running an AC unit 24/7 in my house. That's just going to run my electricity bill up to, ridiculous amounts. So I've already asked numerous times, can I come in the office? And they're not letting us. I'm willing to go in because they're only letting a couple of people on each floor. I'm like, look, I'll work a weird shift, like 9:15 to 4:15. So I'm not, I'll take the stairs. I'm active. I don't need to take the elevator. It sucks. They're just not. They're not even allowing us. And it's like, but there's nobody there. So I have a job where I talk to customers a lot over the phone, and I don't want to do that in my house. I really don't. I don't want to bring that here.
No, I hear you, Rich. Yeah, it's a weird situation. So that's the thing. Yeah, that the personal life got really involved with YouTube. It's really hard to call everything. I wanted to call so many games that I missed out, and like that. Now I may be able to, because if basketball's going on in the summer, I'll be home in the summer, and that'll be fun. So I could call a lot of late games, because I only called Magic games, but then later on I actually was starting to call other games as well, and I had fun calling the other games, but. But not really Magic, of course.
I started something on my channel called Fact or Fiction Sports Talk, where I give a hypothetical statement and then fact at the end. And that was another thing that I wasn't doing original sports videos, and I was calling a Lakers game one night, and I just had no crowd. And I'm sure there were 800 channels calling the Lakers at that point.
Oh yeah. And
I was like, it was like 5 people at halftime. I'm like, do you guys care if I call this because I'm tired? It's late. Nobody's really here. Like, yeah. And that's when I came up with the show at the end of the night, which was perfect. The sports got canceled a few weeks later. So I was like, well, it gave me original content. So I hear you though, I was trying to call everything the first month, first 8 or 9 months, not just NBA playoffs, but everything, and calling multiple Yankees games. Why I like calling the Yankees? Baseball is brutal at times. In the London State, they played the Red Sox. Both those games were almost 5 hours.
Wait, first let me say this. You worked so hard on that stream, because I was actually in the stream when you did that. And that, I remember, lasted so long. I forgot. It must have been like a 5 or 6 hour stream. It was really long.
Just under 5 hours. Just a smidge under 5 hours.
And that is taxing. And oh man, I give you so much credit for doing that game. Yeah,
It really turned me off of
I
calling.
remember I was like, wait, this game's still going on. Like I left and came back, obviously, because
I think you did. You're like, you're still going. I'm like, it's the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Where's OGR? He went home because OGR was with me for someone. He checked out. He's like, I can't do anymore.
Yeah, even OGR left. I remember that. He was like, this is too much.
I gotta go home. I'm like, okay, I'm here for another 2 hours. Great.
Football without fans could be cool if we could hear the trash talk, Giants Alliance says.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I guess hearing the coaches and the refs and that.
Players probably trash talk more than we know.
It's going to be on the, that could be annoying too because it's going to be on a delay and you're going to hear a lot of beeps and bloops or just sound ripped out.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to beep it out. That's true.
Yeah, not really the same like a UFC pay-per-view where it's pay-per-view, so they don't, anything goes. But I'll watch it.
Yeah, I had a question about OGR. Not a question, but like, it's kind of strange that he's a Giants fan and a Red Sox fan. Like, I had him on the chat. We talked about it. But I just I can never get over that. Like, that must be crazy, right?
It's something. Yeah, a lot of people give me some little crap for liking the Yankees and the Washington Nationals.
Oh yeah, a lot of people get on you for that, Rich.
Yeah, get on that, and I just always say, look, I was a Yankees fan first. Lived in Virginia for 10 years. Wanted to support one local team. I chose the Nets. For him, I think it has something to do with his family and his dad. Dad liked one team, and another family member maybe liked another, so that's why he picked the Red Sox and Giants. But you're right, that really is a weird. New York and Boston don't go together, and you like a New York team and a Boston team.
Yeah. I just I love OGR though. Great guy. I had him on the channel. We'll have him again. So, I love getting people, repeatedly on, keep talking, see what the update is, especially during this time that there's not much going on in the world of sports, but now we're getting updates. Things are moving in the right direction. So that's great. But don't you think that when basketball comes back, you're going to want to call more games because you've missed it for so long? Or what do you think is going to happen when that happens?
Probably not.
Okay.
I will call the Spurs games, all 8 of them. And I'm hoping League Pass is at a discount.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the League Pass that I have still works. I have no idea how that's going to work, actually.
I canceled. It's weird because I canceled mine at the beginning of March because I don't remember. I think
Arco.
I know it ran out March 3rd. I'm like, I'm not going to renew it because a lot of the Spurs games were going to be on TV.
Oh, great.
And I'm like, there's no point me paying for the League Pass when I can call X amount of games, and then lo and behold, the season gets canceled or suspended literally 2 weeks. And so I lucked out there. So I don't know how many of their 8 games or where they're going to be. Since there's only 22 teams, maybe more games will be televised. And if half the Spurs games are on, I'm not going to pay $18 for 4 games. It's not worth it. But
what ESPN should.
What's that?
Yeah, ESPN should try to get the rights for all these games if they can and put it on ESPN Plus or something. I don't know.
Yeah, ESPN Plus would be great if we get the NBA in there.
Yeah, I think that would be a great way to do it.
I always try to find a healthy balance now between being on YouTube and personal life.
Yeah.
Because I am still looking for Mrs. The Sports Reaction. I went on a few dates with a girl. I had my first COVID-19 date, or Corona. Sorry, I said that we're on the stream. Had the first virus date. She didn't have the virus a few weeks ago. We had 3 days, but things didn't work out. But I'm always looking for the next Miss Sports Reaction because I always tell folks what would really be cool is to have somebody to call games with, a female. Even if it's just one sport she likes. I think, and let's be honest, that would help grow the channel. If she's cute or attractive, that's going to bring new viewers in. It's going to bring guys in just because, and then it'll bring females in because they can get the female perspective. And that's ultimately the goal. I don't want to date somebody that's never willing to be on the channel because I don't want to be sitting here and have her just feel like, you should always be able to share.
That's how a lot of YouTubers do it, though, Rich. I agree with you. It's a great thing that you're trying to look for, and it'd be great if somebody.
Well, they do it too, but they started YouTube after maybe they were dating somebody or married, so it's not. Now you can't go back and be like, "Hey, I'm doing this now." I'm up front and say, "Hey, I'm on YouTube. Would you be up for coming on?" And I wouldn't stop that from dating somebody. I dated girls when I had the previous channel, and they didn't really want to. One was on during a UFC fight, but she was off camera. She's like, "I don't want my face on YouTube." And it's like, and I've known so many girls as friends too. They're like, "Man, that looks really fun. I'd like, you have a lot of fun in there." I'm like, "Do you want to be on?" No.
Yeah.
Well, what? Apparently, it doesn't look like that much fun.
Yeah. That's that's a great thing though. If you could get somebody else like that, like sports, and would be willing to watch it with you and call it with you, that
A
is
joint channel would be
that'd be great.
that would be the
I hope you find somebody like that, because then I'll be like, hey, remember this? You said it on my channel, and look, it came true.
No, I've been telling people that because people always ask, "Are you single?" I'm like, "What do you think? I'm on here on Friday night. Come on, not Friday's night, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're starting to date somebody that would definitely cut into your YouTube time because when you're establishing a relationship, you can't be streaming 5 or 6 nights a week because you have priorities.
I don't want my face on YouTube, says Michael Grant. Well, then, yeah, you can't be a content creator in terms of that. It's Wednesday.
Well, he can.
I mean, he can. It's just you won't show your face ever. But people, I don't know. I feel like people respect the guys that do that, that like put their face out there.
It's funny because trolls, I get trolled hard, especially on the women's side, the United States women's team. I get trolled like nobody's.
Really? I did not know about this sports reaction. I had no idea.
Oh, my the video I mentioned before, my biggest women's team video has close to 500 likes and over 300 dislikes. There's tons of comments that I'm a simp or a social justice warrior. I don't even care anymore. The key to trolls is remember this: like, love, hide. Like the comment, like if somebody says something really, no, seriously, if somebody says because I
didn't know. I'm saying I didn't even think about it. That's what I'm saying.
People were trashing women, like when a woman lost the lawsuit. That's when my videos started getting a lot of views, and they were attacking women and just saying stuff that was really not something I want on my channel. And first couple of days, I was just deleting the comments, and I just started doing some research and like how to handle trolls. And they're like, well, first off, don't take it personally, which I didn't. But sometimes you see stuff that still gets you a little amped up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're helping your channel. Thumbs down and a nasty comment are still contributing to the algorithm with YouTube.
Yeah.
So what you do is you like the comment, you love the comment, which they'll see you liking, love it, and then you hide the user. And what happens is that person can still say all the nasty shit they want in every single one of your videos, but nobody sees it except for them. So they think they're still trolling you. In the end, they're actually wasting their time and helping your algorithm. You don't even know they're there. So like, love, hide.
That's true. That's true.
Reaction.
Alex really wants me to read this question, so I'm going to read it.
I saw that. He wants to do a threesome. Well,
he said, can we all do a collab? Now, listen, I have no problem with doing collabs with more than another person, but I've realized that when I do that, people start yelling over each other or talking over another. I don't have a problem with it, but it's also got to be up to other people, and we got to be, like when Rich talks, I stay quiet. When I try to be respectful in that way. It's very, what do you think, Rich, about that though? Like doing a collab with, I guess.
I would not want to do a 6-person collaboration because I've seen those, and this is not a disrespecting my stunner, but I do see generally a lot of talking over one another.
Even I've cut it down. I rarely do those.
I'd probably limit it to 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be up for it.
The funny thing is, I love having 6 people at once, but there are people that they don't know when to give people a chance to talk, and it's very hard to give 6 people individually a chance to talk. Like you said, 4, I could see that working out. Now, it depends. You would need the people to agree. Like, okay, when Rich is talking, nobody else talk. When Amir's talking, let him talk. Or Sports Critic or Alex, when he's talking, Alex is talking about only 3 of us. I could definitely see that working out. I think 3 is still good. Like, because, yeah.
Or maybe the 3 of us in OGR Sports if he's game.
Yeah, OGR, there we go. That's a great guy. I would love to have him on again.
Good point, Alex. The host has the right to tell. Yeah, in the end,
yeah.
I'm sure I've cut Amir off a little bit here and there tonight, but I try not to. But overall, I think we've done good.
You've been fine. Yeah. Like there's obviously times when you're talking at the same time and then you realize, but it's like, you can't handle that. But I'm saying like when you have 6 people, it is hard. Like I've done it. I've had 6 people and I like it. I do like it, Rich, because you get to hear everybody's opinions, but then like you said, it gets too much. It's hard to control. So I cut down on that a lot, TSR. Yeah.
You have had your group, like you and Alex and some other folks. Yes, you didn't catch it, Amir, at Midwest Sports. I said Alex wants a threesome, and I realized what I said after that. You mentioned I didn't even realize you said that. Yeah, you guys have had some interesting streams where I've caught a replay. I never caught it live, but I'll see somebody put up a video like, I'm not working with so-and-so anymore. And I'm like, what happened last night? And then I'll go into the stream and just like, the meltdowns that sometimes happen when you guys have 6 people in there,
Mm-hmm.
or the arguments. And I'm not knocking anybody or calling anybody up. I'm just like,
Yeah.
damn, sometimes you guys have some pretty lit and heated moments.
Heated debates. That's the one thing I do like, but then I don't like it because some people don't know how to share the mic, I would say, I guess. This guy says, Paper Poor, what are you going to do when you hit 1K? Well, actually, Rich has 1K, way over 1K. About, I think, 5K you're at right now.
58.50.
What did you do? Okay, let's do this. You got 1K. What did you do when you got 1K? Did you finally dab? I think you do much more than that.
I was more in shock because I mentioned this earlier in the stream, Paper Portal. I had done YouTube for a long time and couldn't find any success. And it took me a decade to get 1,000 subscribers with my original channel. And I started up the Sports Reaction April 5th of last year. And I always saw those videos about how to get 1,000 subscribers with shout out streams and networking and all that stuff. And I didn't do any of that. I just was like, I'll start a new channel, call it the Sports Reaction, and call it the NBA Playoffs. And I got to 1,000 in 30 days. So I actually did what I didn't think was possible. I was more in shock. I was like, I actually did this the right way just by doing content. Because I do see a lot of channels that are doing the shout out things too. And this is not a knock to people that are doing them. You're going to get subscribers, but they're never, ever going to watch your content. And I'm having that issue now because I gained 40 subscribers that were Warriors fans through the NBA playoffs. They're not watching a lot of the content. You look at my channel and you'll see my Giants videos being uploaded or Spurs. Some of my videos only have a couple hundred views. My Stuck in the 80s have 50 or less. Yet I have 6,000 subscribers because I have what they call empty subs. They're a subscriber, but they'll only watch one particular content thing you do and not watch anything else. And then networkers aren't going to watch any of your content.
That's why I split up the Movie Critic and Sports Critic as well. Because when I was doing the Sports Critic, like the content on the Movie Critic, I was getting a lot of views and a lot of new people. But the people that were into the movies, they weren't watching at all, like, because they were strictly movie buffs and movie guys. There's some people that are strictly movie guys, some guys that are strictly sports guys, and then you have the people that are in between, So that is also why, and I actually do like this, the fact that, yes, I know I've neglected the Movie Critic channel. I haven't done as much content. People always say, hey, what's going on with the Movie Critic? Is he dead or whatever? No, I've always thought, there'll be a return. And I should have actually worked on it more now because of the thing. But let me tell you, Rich, why I didn't was that this channel gets a lot of views for me. Thank God. I'm blessed. And I have subscribers. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers. I have about 750, which is still okay. Yeah. But I have constant people coming in. So that's what I think is important. Like you said, you need to have an audience where it's constant people coming in. Like you have some people that only come for Golden State or only come for this team. But it's always great to have those people. There's some people that always come on your stream too, Rich, that are like, I will come on your channel no matter what you do. I don't care, call women's soccer, polo, I'll be there, like I don't care, because I really like how you call stuff and how it's always fun is my point.
The Entertainer Talking Sports was one that I really took a cue from over the last few months, which people keep saying, do hangout streams and chill streams. And those are fine and cool. Yeah. But I want to start building subs off of uploaded videos because those are the folks that are going to keep watching. Maybe they'll only watch the Giants videos I do or the women's team's videos or whatever, but you're going to get more reputed views. Whereas if I just keep doing live streams, that's going to be fun. And maybe I'll pick up a few subscribers here and there. But I was mentioning replay value. Nobody's going to watch a hangout stream 6 months from now. Unless something happened crazy, like, I don't know, I got nothing. But you know what I mean? Those I got nothing, but I want to put content that has replayability 2 months down the line. So it's not that I don't like live streaming and seeing people in the chat that, it's like, hey, how you been, whatever. But right now I'm focusing on trying to build a solid foundation of content for the channel. And then when sports come back, of course, I'll be live streaming left and right. But right now with no sports, I really want to focus on original content.
Yeah, but I did see that you did do a few StreamYards here and there, right? Is that correct?
What I started a new show with OGR Sports called The Big Blue Breakdown. We are both Giants fans. Yes. And I was like, hey, how would you feel about, especially with the DeAndre Baker situation a few weeks ago?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that today.
Yeah. Well, he's going to, sounds like he's going to be, all charges will be dropped this week.
Yeah. So
I talked to OGR, and I think we work well together, and we're starting to build a good chemistry. And I was like, I have an idea, what if every Monday we go live around 7:30, a lead into Monday Night Football? We'll talk about the Giants win on Monday. and it's been fun, and that's been the only streaming I've been doing. Besides, I was on Al Sports channel not too long ago. I'm on your channel now, and was on Butcher Block and Patriots Talk channel not too long ago. Doing live content here and there, but I really want to build the original content, especially right now. It's like I have time. Like I just finished I finished a Karate Kid song yesterday. It's just called Strike Hard, No Mercy, Sir, and it's really fun. It's metal, but it's not death metal. It's just heavy metal. I'm hoping to shoot a video at some point this week. I don't know when I'm doing the video yet. And the music thing is just fun too. I just love creating music, and it's a very different side of me. But it's a side people saw sometimes during the NBA playoffs where I'd bust my guitar out at halftime and just start jamming.
Yeah, I remember that. And people also love your impression of Freddy Krueger, like myself.
I'm pretty love, but
yeah,
that's like that's crazy. So what would be if I ever make a shirt that's gonna have a picture of me with the Freddy glove, and I'm gonna say, "How's this for a live stream?"
Yeah, and the thing is actually Freddy Krueger is the guy that I like the most out of the killers, because he was the one that talks and I always found him funny. But then he got kind of cartoony later on. But I love the original Freddy Krueger. I love those movies.
Since we're talking, obviously I could talk movies all night. Freddy Krueger is a weird character because he's iconic. People love the character. Kids today still dress up as for Halloween, and people forget Freddy's bio is that he was a child murderer that was burned alive by the angry parents of said children because he got let off by a technicality. That's true. Somehow he's kind of a good guy now. He's the cool guy.
I mean, that is true. But like, let me tell you something, Rich. For me, I always root for the villains for some strange reason. Because this is what it is. I always find them really interesting. And usually, if you look in the Freddy Krueger movies, besides Nancy, most of the other people are kind of one-note, bland kind of characters. Like later on, especially that happens. Not in the beginning, because you have Johnny Depp's character is kind of interesting and stuff. But you get what I'm saying, I think. And also, like in Star Wars, do you root for Luke Skywalker or do you like Darth Vader? Like I've always been a Darth Vader person. Like I've always enjoyed him more because I find him more fascinating. And Luke Skywalker is like this crybaby, in my opinion.
You can only the power of the dark side.
I mean, who's more iconic, Darth Vader or Luke? It's not even a question, right?
Darth Vader's probably the top 3 greatest movie villains of all time. And
it's not the fact that I agree with you. He's a terrible character, but I just find him fascinating in terms of how entertaining he is. But they don't agree with anything that he does, obviously. Killing people is wrong. But it's a movie, so it's supposed to be kind of like that, I guess.
Freddy, I'll close on this, is, in my opinion, the greatest horror villain of all time because he's the complete package. He's got a personality. He's got a backstory. Yeah. He's got an extremely original look with the hat, the burned skin, the sweater, and then the most unique horror weapon probably in the history of horror weapons because everybody has something you can buy at Walmart. You can get a chainsaw at Walmart. You can get a machete. You can get a butcher's knife. You can't get a razor sharp Freddy glove that actually do damage. So I think Wes Craven did an amazing job creating a character. Robert Englund will always be Freddy Krueger no matter how many remakes they try to do in the future. And for me, I mean, people may say Dracula. I'm like, Dracula's a book first. I'm talking about movie horror villain, and that's Freddy Krueger. Yeah,
man. Like, that's true. That's so true. And like, I haven't seen documentaries. This is how much I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen the documentaries and I'm surprised that the movie got made because it almost didn't. And that is shocking. Hey, Scottzilla, welcome to the stream. How are you? Long time no see. Yeah, the Freddy Krueger, though, that Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, almost didn't get made. It was a new concept at the time. A lot of people didn't think that the dream stuff would work out, and it did. Also, like Back to the Future, people were worried about. There's a lot of stuff you find out, like, oh, these movies were close to like not having. Back to
the Future originally had Eric Stoltz playing Marty McFly, and they shot with it, and they're like, this ain't working.
Yeah. They actually shot a lot of scenes with him originally. He was supposed to be the work, and they just
Elm Street. I'll close on this. People may forget as well. Elm Street is the house they built. New Line Cinema built their whole. The foundation is Freddy Krueger because that company was not really doing much in Nightmare on Elm Street. Really made them relevant, and then eventually made a little series called Lord of the Rings that did pretty well. Right. So New Line Cinema really is the house that Freddy built.
Yes.
Godzilla, my man.
Scottzilla, one of those original guys in Entertainers Chat, I remember too. that we
Way back. Godzilla. I'm hoping to have a new song up this week. It's a Cobra Kai song. I know it's a metal song, so I think you would like it. Very 80s influenced because I'm still stuck there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So, man, I don't even know what to talk about anymore.
Yes, because you're a movie guy. So I think we covered all the sports news.
Yeah, we can go.
What is your favorite Avengers movie out of the 4?
Infinity War was my favorite. And this goes down to what I was talking about, the villain. Because in Infinity War, it has such a devastating ending that I always imagine, what if the movie just ended like this? And like they just never made an Endgame.
Never made any more?
Yeah, or like they just continued with half the people. They're like, yo, those guys are... Spider-Man is really dead, guys. He's really dead. He's gone. Because you know, he's not really dead. There'll be another movie and they'll come back. But you never see... It actually was very dark at the end, like how people just disappeared and how Spider-Man was like so emotionally connected with some of the characters. When he's dying, you just feel so bad. But that was my favorite one because of that. And also, I felt like that was the one where Thanos was used more and correctly. And I like the storyline the best in that one. I felt like in Endgame, they tried to do a lot of travel. They travel back and forth with the time travel. And it was just, I didn't think it was the best way that they did it. What about you? What do you think about between all the events?
Even though I was a huge Hulk fan, I was disappointed. Very disappointed. Infinity War.
Oh, Infinity War. Okay.
Disappointed with the Hulk screen time in Infinity War, but Endgame
Hulk was so annoying.
So underused, and it was. Endgame a little long, and oddly enough, there was one of your streams that spoiled the movie. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Endgame, I'm sure everybody knows about it. It was in one of your live streams where somebody said Black Widow and Iron Man died. I was like, mother. I didn't know it until then. And I mean, I like Endgame. We got to give credit. They took, how long did that run for? What, 10, 11 years of stories, and they wrapped it up pretty well in Endgame. So props to Marvel Studios and everybody that worked on that.
It's not over.
But Infinity War, just all the I mean, half the characters are gone in Endgame.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And they're all there.
They're going to start it back up, but it's going to be something else. But you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Endgame I liked too, but then there was parts that I didn't like. Captain America leaving. I you know, when Iron Man died, at least it was like emotional and made sense and all that. And I'm really sorry that got spoiled for you because it wasn't supposed to be. I don't think it was a spoiler review, but you can't, the chat.
People are being jerked in your chat that night.
Yeah, you can't control the chat. I would never spoil anything on my thing unless I say, hey, look, Rich, this is a spoiler review, so please.
No, it wasn't you. It was your chat was being very juvenile, and it was sucks. Those people I know too, or that had come to my channel. I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Like, come on, I didn't see this. I want to see this. But also, like, I remember when Endgame came out. That one I saw before it was like even released, like way before. So
I didn't see that in the theater. I ended up because of the spoiler. I'm like, I have no desire to see it.
Yeah, but I'm happy that you eventually saw it, even though it was spoiled for you. You saw it because that movie. You can spoil it, but there's so much that happens throughout that you can't guess all that's gonna happen.
Although the Black Widow one was a little predictable, because as soon as he went there, you're like, come on, that's not what happened in Infinity War. This does not end well.
Oh my God, it was so crazy to see Red Skull back, though. I was like, what? In Endgame, he was there.
So let me ask you. I want to ask you this because I don't remember if you reviewed it as the movie critic, but Episode 9 of Star Wars.
Actually, I did review it. It's on the channel, yes. So, God, man, what a mistake that whole trilogy is. Yep. What a mistake that whole trilogy is. I'm gonna say this: the seventh movie was was the seventh? Yeah, seventh.
Force Awakens was the seventh one.
Force Awakens had a really good stuff that I liked, but a lot of it was kind of similar to New Hope. But then when they got to The Last Jedi, terrible movie. And then they're like, Last Jedi, you're not bad enough. Let's go worse. And I think it was worse because they brought back people and they didn't even explain it. No explanation. What the hell?
I hate the 3 movies, and I'll agree. Force Awakens was the best one probably the best one. I think Kylo Ren taking his helmet off and losing to Rey was a mistake, but at least the movie was passable entertainment. And by the time I got finished watching the last one, all I felt like is I was watching my favorite characters as a child die. That's the only reason they brought him back. And to bring the Emperor back, which you just said, it should have been set up if they're going to do it, which changing directors between J.J. Abrams and the other guy messed up.
J.J. Abrams, that's all they should have done, I think.
When you think about Star Wars, the trilogy that we really love, 4, 5, and 6, the whole storyline isn't really about Luke Skywalker. It is, but really it's the redemption of Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi. And how does he redeem himself? By killing the Emperor. So he did crap on that entire series, much like Terminator Dark Fate crapped all over everything with what they did in the beginning of that movie.
They brought back the Emperor, and they didn't even say how they brought him back. They're just like, the Force is strong, he's back. And I remember that, like, in Return of the Jedi, when he throws him, and he gets killed, Darth Vader, because, he's doing the electrical thing. They just destroyed that whole moment with that, It's Rich, we got to do a movie stream together. Like, just talk, because I think me and you could talk about movies for, like, when you talk about Star Wars, I think this trilogy was actually worse than the first the 1, 2, and 3, which I didn't think could happen. I really didn't think that could happen, and they found a way to make it worse than that. Now, do you agree with me that it's worse than those movies?
Yes, for 2 reasons. 7, 8, and 9, because it switched directors and writers, had no direction. It was constantly doing this. Lucas, for all his faults, had a vision for the first 3. Second, 7, 8, 9, they went like this. They got worse, ending with probably the worst movie out of the new trilogy. 1, 2, and 3, while I'm not a fan of 2 or 1 really, at least the third one closed on. I liked Revenge of the Sith. So they got better for the most part, whereas this one got worse. So I would rather watch the first 3. The first one, at least, I know people hate the kid, Anakin Skywalker. He's annoying. Jar Jar Binks is now interesting because I watched the movie pretending he's actually the Dark Sith Lord. There's a video about that where he's actually.
I heard about that. Yeah.
He's actually the leader of everything. So I watch it with that. I'm like, it's actually kind of funny. I can see it. And Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn and Ray Park as Darth Maul. There are good moments. A severely flawed movie. Attack of the Clones is almost unwatchable, and then I think Part 3 redeems the first 2.
Yeah.
I can watch The Force Awakens. I can't watch The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker because they're so convoluted. And when you have Luke Skywalker lifting the damn X-Wing in Part 9 as a ghost, then just show up at the end when she's fighting the Emperor, all you damn ghosts. Get off your butts, because apparently you can interact with living things anyway, so just all show up and it's all a moot point because you don't actually die anymore. You can do everything from the grave.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. And also, what I also hated was they had good concepts, actually. If you look at it, Finn being a stormtrooper and then him being able to not be a stormtrooper and he can, like, get away from that, that was cool. Yeah. The fact that if they really wanted to go to the fact that she's Palpatine's granddaughter, then make Palpatine a good thing. Change it. Instead of making his name bad, make it good. Instead of saying, I'm a Skywalker, when you have no real Skywalker lineage. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. There's a lot of holes they had in that movie. Just too much to go through.
She had a brief training and not a good relationship with Luke in Part 8.
Yeah.
And apparently had a great relationship with Leia Organa in 8 and 9.
Yeah.
So wouldn't she have said her last name was Organa at the end of the thing to honor the person who died and was training her instead of the grumpy old man that didn't want anything to do with her?
Yes. And also, you know what else pissed me off about the newest movies? The villain. He was so weak. He was so weak. He was so weak that I think that's why they brought in Palpatine. They just, like, they did not write him well at all. They were trying to make him. Huh?
When he stopped that laser blast in The Force Awakens at the beginning, he uses the Force to stop a laser blast coming at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that's cool. He had the Darth Vader look. And then he takes his helmet off halfway through the movie, and I think we all went, what?
When he took his mask off, I lost
what?
It. I did not
expect to the actor, but seriously, you're like, dude, you're a dork. Like, what the hell just happened? And then having him lose to Rey in the first movie, Darth Vader was the ultimate power in episode 4. Yeah. And Luke was like a chump. And then episode 5, Luke was better, but Darth kicked his ASS at the end of that. And then finally in 6, Luke rose and was his equal and beat him. In episode 7, you have the big mistake is you've weakened your main villain by having him take his mask off and exposing him as, having a human side. Right. But then you have him lose to Ray. There's nowhere to go from there. She's already beaten him. Who cares? You can't have your villain lose in the first movie of a new trilogy because now the villain has nowhere to go. It's like, all right, well, she's already beaten him. Why am I invested in the battle between the two? Because she's already better than him.
He has nowhere to go. And also, they killed Snoke, who was the supreme leader. I really wanted to find out more about his backstory. I don't care about the Emperor, Rich. Emperor's dead. I'm fine. Let's move on. Why are we still holding on to that? Why are they still holding on to that? If we could have seen where Snoke came from and how Kylo Ren would stay loyal to him no matter what, that would have been more interesting than this. What we got in the end.
I forgot who directed the second one, episode 8.
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson, is it?
Rian Johnson, yep.
That was him doing this to J.J. Abrams, saying, also with saying Rey's parents were nobodies. That was the ultimate middle finger. And by the way, why is Palpatine a bad name? Weren't Rey's parents good people?
Yeah,
so because of one guy, she can't use the name?
That's what she wanted to go away from.
Oh, I hate those movies.
So it's such a mess that you could talk about this for hours with so many plot holes. It's just like every time I think of stuff, and then I find out more stuff, like what the hell? And then when I think about it, like you said, changing directors is okay if you keep the narrative the same, but Johnson changed it so much from what Abrams wanted. Yep. I just felt like, why didn't they just keep Abrams on board? They should have just kept him.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why does the Emperor keep using Force lightning when it clearly doesn't work? He's been blown up 3 times because of this now. And I want to throw this at you. We're going to have to wrap this up shortly, but
yeah.
Episode 9, the Emperor says to her, "Kill me and I will blah blah." Like he's saying, you have to kill me and then I'll become part of you or some.
And he was attached to that thing or whatever.
She kills him. That doesn't happen. And then another big what the F in the movie is she dies. Spoilers here if you haven't seen episode 9. I'm assuming everybody has. She dies, and she's right there. Ben dies and quickly disappears. Why did she disappear and become a ghost right away?
Yeah, I don't know.
What? For plot convenience? That's right. Plot convenience.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent with how it's done that there were just so many holes like that. I know you just said you had to go, but I just want to say one last. Let's just answer these few questions, and then if you have to go, that's fine. I totally understand. Who has a better chance to win, the Magic or the Spurs?
Neither.
I don't think any of us do, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with Rich on that. I hope it would be the Magic, but I don't think so. But I'll tell you this. I do like the direction my team is going in. A lot of people make fun of the Magic, but if you look, they got a lot of young talent, and they don't have anybody like KD or anything like that, but it's hard. Those guys all went to like the Nets or different teams, and it's just whatever.
Be an interesting offseason in the Spurs family because I think there's going to be a lot of changes, including a head coach change. So it's going to be... yeah, it's going to be something.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all the questions we had. I think we got through most of them. If we missed yours, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure this will not be the end. Like, I'm pretty sure Rich will come on again or I'll come on his channel, whatever. Because I'll tell you this, Rich, you're one of my favorite YouTubers to watch because of how you call sports and the fact that you bring in movies into it. Like, you bring in the Freddy Krueger voice. I can never get over that. And just so many things. Like, we're both movie guys, but we both love sports. Like, people think you can only love one. We both love them equally, I think.
Both Giants fans, both Metallica fans. Your favorite fan of Metallica, I think.
Yeah, I love Metallica. Love Giants. So there we go with that. So I just want to wrap this up. Rich, do you have anything else to say before I end the stream?
No, I want to thank you all for tuning. It's been fun. If you haven't hit the thumbs up already, please do so. Anybody that came from my channel, make sure you sub up Amir. He's over this way. Really good dude. And I want to thank you all for tuning. Until next time, what you going to do when TSC and TSR run wild on you, brother?
What a great ending. I can't say anything more than that except subscribe to the Sports Reaction. His Twitter is there too, so follow him on Twitter if you use Twitter. We will try to do more streams like this if we can. I know he's very busy and I'm very busy. We'll try to coordinate it somehow like what we did. This was the first time, and I got to say, honestly, Rich, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for coming on. Hope you can come on in the future again, or I'll come on yours or whatever. I'm pretty sure this will not be the end. And maybe we could do like a movie talk one day. We'll see. Like I used to do on my old channel. I used to always bring somebody on to talk about it. Maybe we could do that because we at the end we just went like to movies without even
live stream and the movie critic. Ooh.
Yeah.
Stuck in the 80s on the movie critic.
There we go, exactly. So yeah, hit the subscribe to him. I really, he's a great guy. I love working with him, even though it's just our first stream. I've been a great supporter of his channel, and he's been a great supporter of mine. I always go into his, he always goes into my live streams. So definitely subscribe to him, check out his channel, and hit the subscribe, and also follow him on Twitter. We're out of here. Peace out, and see you on the next live stream and video. Peace out, everybody. Take care.